Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's episode 9 of the Ain't This the Fun podcast with our bi-weekly regular where they know your name like Cheers, Erik Childress.
That's
How are
me.
you?
I'm okay, man.
Good to hear.
I like the association with Cheers. I kind of like that.
Everybody knows your name.
I'm happy someone knows my name.
I can't serve you a beer this way, though. I can't.
I don't drink the stuff anyway. But everyone seems like a I got a burden to appease a lot of people.
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying. I mean, if everyone's out there, I'm probably not going to make a couple people happy. But why would they be tuning into the show? Because it's all about happiness.
That really doesn't sound good. Why are you going to make people unhappy?
I'm not trying to make people unhappy. Some people just are like that.
Okay.
All right. Some people are never happy. That's why they should tune into your show, because
that's right.
That's all it's about.
That's what it is about.
Pop culture and positivity. That's how I describe it on my podcast.
I like the alliteration.
Yes.
I can always appreciate a good alliteration. We need another P in there somewhere.
A lot of alliteration from anxious anchors at important posts. Broadcast news.
There you go. Well done.
Yes. That could easily be one of my 3 happy things on any given show. So
I can understand that.
Yeah.
That makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch it this week at all?
I have not.
Are you in preparation for anything?
Not just yet. Saving that one.
Your Cyrano adjacent one has not come out yet, right?
We have not taped that one yet.
So I can't say what it was.
Well, I mean, it's out there. We have
because at the end of the last one, you say
the
it,
other
right?
one, yeah. It's the next one. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's Roxanne. I watched Cyrano this week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because
this is fun. Hear you upstairs.
Well, yeah. Then because she had never seen Roxanne.
Right. That's amazing. I'm not in a good way. Like, she got to see it is what I mean by amazing. Not like I can't believe she hasn't seen that.
Well, you could say that too. I can't believe she hadn't seen it either. So that's why I was like, wait. So old Cyrano, the whole thing she hadn't seen. So we watched the old Cyrano. We watched it. So we saw. I said, well, look, you got to find Roxanne if you've never seen Roxanne. And it just so happens, I text you and I go, hey, we're watching Roxanne, and you go, hey, we're taping that right now. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. So we got to talk about it. She liked it. She likes Steve Martin anyway, but
good.
How good is that?
It's one of the great. I mean, really. I mean, he happens to be adapting, one of the great, plays of all time. So you start from a great place anyway. But to make that story modern and his own, and with the kind of, I mean, you and I are big fans of LA Story, which I think really kind of like, I mean, Steve Martin kind of exploding with romanticism in that movie. But you see it in Roxanne, obviously. I mean, he has he's very much in tune with the poetry of the language, and he's such a natural, humorist that so much of that movie works so beautifully, and is the way that he has to change a few things in the third act, obviously, to not make it so much of a tragedy.
He's also not a swordsman. He's also not. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, a lesser person probably would have had him die in that fire he goes to at the end of the movie. But that, you don't want that to work out. But again, and he does. I'm going to save some of that for the other podcast. But no, it's so good, and I'm glad you like Cyrano too, which we talked about the last time that I was here. So it convinced you to watch Cyrano.
Yeah, it's a good time. Well, it's not a good time, but
it's a very pleasant viewing experience.
It's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about my not aversion to musicals, but it's not exactly my.
It's not the thing you pop in on any given moment.
Yeah, it's not something I immediately I look for. I seek out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it didn't have a lot of the super talky stuff, but every once in a while it was the the beginning of a conversation and and they start singing their conversation. That's a little bit of that it's just not my thing. But some of the stuff was obviously amazing. It was a good time. But yeah, I said when we started watching Roxanne too, I want to say, and I could be wrong, I don't think I've seen that movie since the video store.
That's amazing. I mean,
so you're talking 29 years.
Wow. I mean, it's not like that movie's like in heavy rotation on television and cable, but
no.
But again, it's really one of the great comedies of the 1980s. I mean, you could say that about a lot of Steve Martin movies, for that matter. But that might be my favorite of his movies from the 80s. I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love The Man with Two Brains. I mean, because that's just so
Duke
right.
Of
I mean,
real. Yeah.
That movie probably makes me laugh harder in certain spots. But Roxanne is just sort of like the complete package. You know, I mean, it follows a lot of stuff with the play. But again, like his own spin on certain things is just so hilarious in that movie.
And I like how they give the nods in just the right way to make it humorous. You know, like the very beginning, they show him with the tennis racket doing kind of like fencing, but just enough. They never mention it ever again. It doesn't matter. Right. But it's just enough of a nod, just enough to remind people about what it is. And if you don't know anything about it, then you don't get it. But if you get it, you appreciate it even more.
I mean, the whole bit in the bar where the guy challenges him and he does the 20 different things. That's directly from Cyrano de Bergerac. It's not really in the Dinklage version. They didn't really, because he doesn't have the nose, and I don't think they want to do 20 different dwarf jokes kind of thing.
Sure, but he does it sort of attack the
the
guy at the theater at the very beginning.
Well, that's where it normally happens. That's where it normally happens, is in that scene, and it happens in the 1950 version as well. But yeah, I mean, and he does the adjectives to describe how he's doing the joke and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, Roxanne's, it's a special movie.
Yeah, that was a good time this week. And then, as you can, I finally, I went through what I affectionately call my geek room upstairs. I'm trying to get that cleaned up so I can make that more of a proper usable room. But I dug through all my drawers and storage in the closet, and I found all the rest of the clicks and everything. So I finally literally have everything in one spot, basically. But as part of that, I finally got to put up. I got this last year, and it's been sitting in a box. So this is your average. Here, I'll show you. This is like the average size of a click when you're playing the game. It's, I don't know, about an inch tall. It's got all the stats on the base. That's about it, right? And I have what they call colossal figures. So, like, the big guys. Colossus. Or not Colossus. I'm sorry. Galactus and Fing Fang Foom and all this stuff.
Right.
They made a new Galactus last year, and I got him, like, 12 months ago. But I finally was able to get him out of the box. And so the little guy is a single square.
Yeah.
And the colossal base, and so these guys can attack him.
Yeah.
But he's just basically a big statue, but all of his stats are on the base here. But he's super detailed.
Yeah.
And you put the little blast. You can take the blast off the hand, and then he comes with two heads.
Yeah, including the dildo he's wearing there.
This is fun. Goes, he's holding a dick.
But when you were bringing it back, when you were putting it into frame, all I was focused. Yeah, it was like the Star Destroyer, like dicks.
Sure,
like coming at you there.
Here, hold on a second. I dropped something. Yeah. So
isn't that a Timothy Zahn book, by the way? Star Destroyer of Dicks.
His pre-transformation head.
Is
angry. But yeah, it's just for decoration. But yeah, I finally get to put him up in the cabinets with all the rest.
Very nice.
So I have my other Galactus, my Dr. Manhattans.
Yeah.
Are this size from the movie? Remember when
speaking of dicks.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, visible. Right out there. Yeah, Dr. Manhattan's a bunch. So they're all in the cabinet there. But I finally got to get him out, and he's so badass. He's so badass.
It's very cool.
So yeah. But yeah, that was this week.
Yeah. Ugh.
So.
Mm-hmm.
You know the format.
I do know the
It's
format.
been 24. Let's remind everybody. It's been 24 months of a nightmare hellscape, and we want to highlight good, positive things that have kept you happy and keep you from going bonkers.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do 3 things that are currently making us that way, having us feel good or happy or positive. And then 1 thing we're looking forward to in the future.
Yep.
And as usual, I leave it up to you. Do you want to go first?
I will go first.
All right.
Sure.
Go for it.
Well, we've been. I'm back sort of on the TV kick, catching up on television stuff, and I think last time we talked briefly about Peacemaker and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which is not what I wanted to talk about actually, although that made me very happy.
Because you finally saw the end after the last time.
I finally saw the entire show, and again, this is not my one thing, but since we are talking about it and it makes me happy, it's worth bringing up. Yeah, I mean, it is so. It was just fun. It was just, I mean, it's even the ugliness that was sort of baked into it with his father and stuff like that. Even a lot of that stuff still was played off for humor, and not in a bad way. And I loved anytime the show got John Cena on some sort of semantics rant with some character about just something like, why is it there? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And they were just, I mean, it was almost like watching an old school screwball comedy in a way, in the way that they were just, I mean, and like the other characters just like, oh my God, they're actually doing this. And so like anytime that happened was really great. And what I really loved in the climax, and it's funny that it was hard not to think that James Gunn got to play with his Slither toys a little bit more during the show, because there's definitely comparisons between what he does on Peacemaker and what he did in Slither.
Sure.
Which I didn't mind, because a lot of it surprised me. I did not expect it to go in certain directions, to take out certain characters and things like that. Even during the finale, I wasn't expecting that. But I loved. I mean, I think we talked last time briefly about the opening theme song and the sort of 80s glam rock song that they use, and they come on, they do the dancing. There's only 2 shows that I do not fast forward through the opening credits. One of them is Stranger Things, because I love that theme so much. And the other now is Peacemaker. Like every time that came up and the skip button came up, I'm like, nope. I'm watching this entire dance again. I'm listening to the song again. And then when they get to the climax of the show and they end up storming the barn finally.
Yep. Finale.
So during the finale, they re-up the song. As they're doing it. I'm just like, yes, that's great, because that stupid song has been stuck in our head all the time, and it's this like triumphant moment where all the characters are sort of, they're all bonded into one sort of safe space, if you will, and they're all sort of working together during this moment. And even though they're villains in that opening scene too, here just to see the remains of our heroes charging there and just amping up that stupid song while they charge, it just made me feel good in such a stupid, goofy 80s kind of way.
They got the slow walk and everything.
The slow walk and everything. And again, it's a ridiculously violent show, and they found some new ways to kill people, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, because I think they did greenlight a second season already. I
want to say yes.
I think they did. Yeah, so I had a great time with that. But and I think I had done Reacher. I talked about Reacher, and now
finished
Peacemaker. So the next show I started after that, catching up on finally, is The Righteous Gemstones on HBO. And I've been a fan of Danny McBride for some time. I'm not crazy about what he's doing on the Halloween movies, but when he's been doing comedy, and I know there are people that he rubs the wrong way and they find him annoying. I know many of those people, but I've been a fan of his going way back. And I mean, I loved Eastbound and Down. I was a big fan of Eastbound and Down. I didn't really get into Vice Principals, not because I didn't like it. I didn't. It kind of came and went, and it kind of passed me by. And that was another show that people said got better in the second season, and they only did 2 seasons of it. And they said, and people really started talking about that show in the second season. And I didn't watch Righteous Gemstones when it came out because I heard kind of like people kind of liked it. You know, I didn't hear like big, a lot of big talk about it. And it wasn't until this past season, the second season that they did, that I was seeing Twitter and all the people in my feed that I follow watching it and blowing up about it and posting GIFs and lines, and Edie Patterson's sister character there. Everyone is just like, she is the funniest thing funniest person on television right now. And so I finally started watching it, and I've gotten through the first season, and I'm 4 episodes into the second season. And the show is just, it surprised me because like the very first episode, it was funny to me that I had absolutely no idea what the show was really about.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be simply about this family, and it was going to be a family of hucksters using the whole idea of religious pomposity and whatnot to, and there is a lot of that in the show. Okay. I wasn't expecting it to be such a violent show.
Oh, really?
I honestly had no clue what the show, like all that stuff that goes on in the first season about the blackmailing. So you've seen it?
So here's the thing. Karen had mentioned it when she was here, and it's one of the things that I know I want to watch. I miss Vice Principals. Okay. And
was this one of her 3, by the way?
What?
Was this one of her 3, or she just mentioned it?
No, she mentioned it talking about something else.
Okay.
She's like, you've seen that, right? And she's mentioned it multiple times before, and it's one of those things where I know I'm going to enjoy it when I start it. I just haven't started it yet. And I know I missed out on Vice Principals. And I like, what's his name from
Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins. I love him. And so I missed out on Vice Principals. And when I saw the preview for this originally, I was really excited about it. I was like, okay, I really want to watch it. And that's almost exactly the time I stopped cable. And so now I can stream it on HBO Max, I believe, right?
Yeah.
It's HBO Max.
That's how I'm watching it.
And so it's one of these things where we just have to start it. My number 2 is going to be another TV show as well. And so we're kind of done with that. And so the next thing we're probably going to get into is Righteous Gemstones, because I like all those guys. And so it'll be a fun time. And the fact that they got Eric Andre on season 2 makes me even more excited, because I like Eric Andre as well. So
although he's funny enough, he's not the best Eric on season 2 at the moment.
Okay.
I'll get to that in a second. But since you mentioned Walton Goggins, who has a pretty big supporting role on the show as their uncle, he's the brother of John Goodman's wife, who has passed away, and he's probably like the biggest huckster in the entire family. He's very much sees everything as a grift, and is always trying to get in more and into the grift. But since you mentioned Walton Goggins, I watched something on YouTube today. Because he showed up. It showed my algorithm brought in Walter Goggins on like Larry King from some years ago or something like that. And the video just read the difference between Tarantino and Spielberg. And it was an interview with Walton Goggins. I'm like, oh, okay. And it's a 90-second clip. So I'm like, I want to know, what is the difference according to Walton Goggins? What the difference is doesn't even matter. It's just you watch Walton Goggins, and he plays these really big characters. He always plays these sort of big Southern characters with a big drawl and everything. And then you listen and you hear him, as Walton Goggins, he's got this real sort of gentle demeanor. Obviously we love him. Yeah, and then obviously we love him from Justified and and so many things over the years. But he worked with Tarantino twice on Django and Hateful Eight,
which is great in.
Which is great. He's great in both of those.
Yeah.
particularly Hateful Eight. He's great in.
I love that's another great movie.
Yeah. But then Larry, he starts talking about Tarantino and how much he loves working with him and whatnot. And Larry King brings up Spielberg, and Goggins is a very small role in Lincoln that he worked with Spielberg. And the thing that struck me about Goggins that just made me like him even more, if that's possible, is that he's talking about Tarantino and he keeps saying like, and Quentin does this and Quentin does this, and kind of saying we're intimidated sometimes to be on Quentin's set and whatnot. And then Larry King brings up Lincoln, and he just goes, it's like, what, just what an absolutely like beautiful man he is. And it's like when you're talking to Mr. Spielberg, and he called him Mr. Spielberg, and I'm just like, that's pretty wonderful right there, the respect that he has for him. But back to the show, so I really had no idea what the show is about. And I mean, the first episode is very jarring if you don't know what it's about. But then what's really surprised me about it is that even though it has all this stuff about the money and the way that they, bring in all this cash and whatnot. I mean, there's literally a scene in there that could be right out of Casino. That Scorsese could have done, where they walk through one of the characters of how, like here's the collection plate, and here's where we bring the money back, and then it all goes into here, and then it's ours. It's that kind of thing. But on top of that, while they do show that these characters, particularly the children, are exceptionally flawed human beings, the Goodman character especially, and even the Danny McBride character, and really and the Adam Devine character too, really are kind of true believers. Like they're using God with the money aspect of it, but they do show themselves as actually trying to follow a noble path. They might be using it. They might be using it in the wrong way, but there's nothing to, and McBride, how his performances can be, to think that he'd be the one who would just be like, praise Jesus in front of the camera, and then behind the scenes, although there is a little bit of that, but then he would just be completely blowing it off, and he'd be like the guy, the version of himself from This Is the End or something like that. But I mean, and again, it's a very atypical Danny McBride type performance. The way that stupid ways he uses the language to describe things, and almost the non sequiturs thrown into dialogue while he's trying to be serious and stuff like that. And the way that the first season plays out, it's actually a little bit moving. A little bit by the end, there's like a growth kind of thing that's going on with the McBride character, and of course in the second season he's kind of back to where he was. But the second season, which I'm 4 episodes in right now, there's like a lot more going on in it. There's even a murder mystery going on in this season, and this last episode that I just watched tonight, just before doing the show, episode 4. Is just, I mean, there's so much happening in that episode, and Edie Patterson, again, I mentioned, who plays the sister. It's the stuff that comes out of her mouth sometimes, and the way that she just purports herself to being, the way she reacts to people. I mean, she's got monologues in this episode that will make your jaw drop. And it's, I mean, and she says them matter of factly. And like, wait a minute, do you really believe what? No, yeah, she believes what she's saying in the show, and it's not like laugh. There's plotting. They build up to laugh. Sometimes they hit you with a laugh that you don't even realize is coming. And again, with the weird dialogue things that they do, and particularly McBride. But I mean, it's a really interesting show, far more interesting than even I had kind of hoped it would be. It's like, oh great, Danny McBride's taking on, the Joel Osteens of the world. You get that, but you get real interesting characters too.
It just the cast alone.
Yeah.
John Goodman, Devine, who I love from Workaholics. Now you got Eric Andre, you got what's his name? Goggins, you got the sister,
Patterson.
That's just what 4 or 5 there.
Yeah, and also joining the season is Eric Roberts.
Okay,
Eric
I can
Roberts.
see him fitting in for some reason.
Playing
I don't even know why.
Yeah, I mean, not even a religious guy. He's I don't even want to say what he is, but it's a very Eric Roberts, and he's very good on the show. I mean, Eric Roberts, you know, in the 1980s was as good an actor as working at the time.
Sure.
And it just, you know, whatever, you know, I mean, I know he's had some issues and whatnot, but and he's done, you know, he's one of those guys that has like 500 IMDb credits because he just shows up. He's like Michael Caine. But I think he's done more than like, I know.
Or Bruce Willis now.
Oh, well, that's a whole other thing.
I saw another preview, by the way. I don't mean to take you off course.
Yeah.
I saw another preview for another movie Bruce Willis is in, some garbage heap thing. We try to be positive. I love old Bruce Willis. I love Die Hard. I love Moonlighting. It's sad to see. But yeah, I'm sure his IMDb thing is like that now too. I remember Eric Roberts doing a lot of that after there was a couple of those movies where, you know, obviously he was like the star.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think even before I left the video store, it was starting to get into the direct to video stuff a little bit.
Well, you go back to the 80s, and I mean he played a lot of not, you know, great characters.
Right.
I mean, Star 80, you know, you almost have a typecast when you play a character that despicable. So like Star 80, but like the Pope of Greenwich Village and Runaway Train, which he got nominated for. I mean, that's pretty, you know, that's a solid 3-film run right there. But then, you know, like Best of the Best, you know, in like the early 90s, and Best of the Best 2. And, you know, he started doing, but there a lot more of the Best of the Best 2s started coming his way. And, you know, I mean, it's nice to see him show up in A Dark Knight every once in a while, and something like this where he really gets, he doesn't show up for just one episode. He's seems to have a full arc on this season. So I'm glad I started it, and I'm halfway through the second season, and I see what the appeal of it is.
Yeah, well, it's definitely on my list. Like I said, I'll go. It'll be my number 2, but it was also TV. But yeah, it's one of probably the next thing I'll do. Whether Mrs. Fun might want to do it, but we'll see. I'm definitely gonna start watching it though at some point.
Yeah. Really good.
Awesome. And that's Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max, Go, cable, HBO, whatever. All right. My number 1 isn't even mine. It more so makes someone else happy.
Okay.
But it makes me happy vicariously.
Yeah, which is a big thing. That's a big thing. Yeah.
Especially in this case, is it's called Animal Crossing. You got a slight glimpse of it on New Year's Eve.
At the game?
It's the game.
Yeah.
And so I bought Mrs. Fun I don't think it wasn't a graduation present. It was the year prior for her birthday. So it's been 2 years, I think, at this point, or almost 2 years soon. But it's called Animal Crossing, and it's a Nintendo-based game. It's been on all kinds of Nintendo platforms for the last, 15 years now. It goes all the way back to the GameCube. So it's that old. And there's been many iterations. But the latest one has come out on the Switch, and it's, like I said, it's about 2 years, year and a half old now, 2 years old. And in essence, they push you into an island. You're this cute little person. I don't even know. Yeah, it's like a little chibi version of a human. And they kick you to an island, and there's a little mare. And he is. She'll have to help me with this. What is 2 years? Yeah, 2 years. She says.
Mm-hmm.
It's what animal is the mare again? But basically, there's a mare, and he's okay. Name your island, and it's barren, right? And you have a choice of 3. They kind of give you like this overhead map, and you can kind of see where some little lakes are, streams, or whatever, and you kind of pick your initial layout. But once you get there, he immediately puts you in debt and says, "Here, I built you a small hut. It's your house. By the way, you owe me, $200,000." And then all of a sudden, Um. Hold on. She's calling.
Will Mrs. Fun get to be on the show now?
I don't know what she's doing.
Okay.
Hold on. We'll see if she's willing to pick up here.
Pipe her in.
Yeah. Can I put you on speaker? Okay. Do you want to come down here, or do you want me to just put you on speaker? She's like, I gotta talk about it.
Come on down.
No. Okay. So speakerphone.
Okay.
Okay. Here.
This is
fun
very
making
cheers, by the
a
way.
phone appearance.
This is very cheers, by the way.
Here, Mrs. Fun.
There you go.
Okay.
So what kind of animal is the mayor again?
So the mayor's a raccoon.
That's right. What's his name? I forgot.
Tom Nook.
That's right, Tom Nook. And he's been in all the games, and he's the guy who basically puts you in debt. He puts you immediately when you get there in all the games, but in this one it's an island.
Yeah.
Right.
And you get there, you pick your layout initial, and then it's basically barren. And there's trees and rocks, and you have nothing, and then basically you have to you shake the tree, and it gives you some twigs. You use the twigs to make a wooden shovel, and then you can dig up dirt and flowers, and then you can sell those. And what am I missing?
But basically, he extorts you for all these bells. So basically,
Bells are money, by the way.
Bells are
Okay.
currency in the Tom Nook universe. So
Okay.
you have to give him money to basically build these things like houses, buildings, museums, stuff like that. So
Stores, general stores,
everything,
clothing
so there's
store.
clothing stores, so all that stuff. But basically, it's just you're there, and you have to pay him to live on your own island.
He wants
But
you
he-
there, but immediately puts you into
want
debt.
You there, but he immediately puts you in like millions of bell dollars.
He has a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, Erik Childress, film critic. Can you just kill him?
Can you just kill him? No violence in this game. Even
No
if you
violence in
burn
this
someone
game?
with something, they don't get hurt.
That would seem like easier than
there's
just paying
no
it back.
violence. It's literally just building things and creating a really
Talking,
nice
giving
community.
gifts,
Yeah, you can
renovating
create
the villagers. You can invite people to live up to what 9 or 10? 9?
And I think it's like 10.
I think it's 10. You can
While
invite
being
10.
$200,000 in debt.
Well,
You're-
that's
you
well, that's
invite
only
up
your
to
initial
200,000.
beginner house, because then if you want
Right.
your adjacent room or the back room or the side room or the attic or the basement, each one of those is an improvement on your house,
Yeah.
and they
And
get
each one is more
exceptionally higher.
expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last part I think is the basement or the attic, and that's
It's
2.5
the
million
basement.
bells.
So this is basically just America, but seen through the eyes of a raccoon-based economy.
Yes, a bell-based raccoon economy. Yes.
Okay.
You can go there and pay money to move your house. It's a zoning issue. You got to pay them, and you move your little house. But you can get on a boat and go to different islands. And there's fruit trees. There's cherries, oranges, peaches. What am I missing? Apples. And then you sell
Pears.
them when you go to other
Yeah.
islands. Their economy. It's based on what you pick. You might get cherries, right? So initially, that's all you can grow. So if you take your cherries with you to an island on the little boat, you can only do like once a day, or if you have enough tickets, you can fly there.
Mhm.
They may have a peach economy there. So if you sell your cherries on the peach island, they're rarer, so you get more money there. But you can then take the peaches from there if you knock them off the tree. You bring them back to your cherry island, and you'll get more money selling those.
And you can also grow them on your island too. So
Right,
it
once
doesn't-
you take them back.
Yeah,
How many-
you can do whatever you want with those. You can either plant them or you can sell them. It is the best game ever. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. I get off of work and I want to play it, and it's just awesome. And I think you need to get your mom one of this game so that we can be Animal Crossing friends.
Okay, you're onto something here. Do you don't have to pay like $3.99 to like buy the Peach Island or anything like that, or it's
No,
not one
but
of those
you do
games.
have to pay for Nintendo Online like Xbox Live. So, but it's like
Okay.
$19 a year. It's not
Okay,
very
$19
expensive.
a year. Okay, well, now we're talking.
Yeah.
How many tickets does it cost to get to Peach Island? I mean, if you only get to go
100 or 250 for a plane flight? How many tickets to go to another island?
To go to another island, I want to say it's oh my god,
200,
I think it's like
250?
1,000.
Is it 1,000?
But it's not bells.
Right, it's tickets.
It's tickets, yeah. It's like
Nook bucks, they're called.
Nook
miles.
Nook miles. So everything you do, if it, the more you improve the island, they have a homeowners association that judges how you've laid out the island, like in a feng shui way, how you decorate. You get little what are they? Not plans, like blueprints. You get blueprints, so like it might teach you how to make like a wrought iron table. So as you crack on the rocks, you might get little ingots of metal that if you have so many metal pieces, you can then make like a wrought iron chair and a wrought iron table and put it in front of your house. And if you have enough of the other parts, you can make a little flower thing, put it on the table, make your little front of your house look cute. It's a lot of cutesy. It is very twee. It is super cute. Is there another word other than cute? It's like grossly cute.
Adorable.
It's adorable. It's awesome. It's amazing. It's fun. It's relaxing, especially after a long day and you just want to relax. Like you don't, and all you have to do is just put on some Animal Crossing and then just
Veg out.
Go strip an island and all of this stuff, and then just go back and sell
there is
all
some
of your shit.
there is some slight going to other people, going to these random islands and strip mining the entire area and then leaving. A little bit of colonialism, but it's not. You're not hurting a person, but you're taking everything off the island and then
it's
leaving.
A random island. No one lives there.
Right.
It's a perfect situation. No.
Not since you got there.
From anybody's island.
But yeah, it's all super cute, and all the little people come and they'll visit, and so there's like pink aardvarks and like. There's like anteaters and elephants and birds, but they're all kind of in the shape of your little human, but you're the only human. They're all different kinds of animals, and they're all super cute with super cute names, and they all want to talk to you in cute ways and give you gifts, and they ask for gifts, and when it's your birthday, because you put in your birthday, it's your birthday, they all run out and try to find you, and they run up to you and celebrate your birthday and give you gifts. All the holidays, all the major world holidays, not just American holidays, are celebrated. Festival was just the other day, right? What did you get? You got like a drum, a xylophone.
A drum, a xylophone. I got a podium so I can put like drinks and food. I got a bunch of other random things, but I didn't do the challenges. So every holiday has a challenge. Like you get to, like for Christmas, there's a guy, I can't remember what his name is, but there's a guy that resembles Santa. He comes over and he, basically asks you to go around giving all of your villagers gifts. And
like to help him deliver the gifts.
Like missionaries.
Basically, yeah.
Well, more Christmassy than that, but yeah.
Yeah, but, it just, yeah. So...
And you can visit each other's islands. So, like, because it's online, so you can get in your little airport, get on your little plane, as long as you know the friend code of someone else. You could go and visit their little island while they're in it, and you can run around together and dig stuff up and plant trees and talk and hang out, and then they can come to your island.
After you've wiped out everyone else on the island.
Well, you can't touch... The beauty is on their island, it's locked, unless they allow you to alter it.
Oh, I see.
Because they're your friends.
No, not necessarily. You can take things from their island.
Some stuff.
No, not well.
You can't like dig up their house and destroy their house.
No, you can't destroy their house, but you
can take like fruit.
If you were really mean about it, you can like strip their whole island and then leave.
Trees, fruit, bushes, flowers.
And you do that because every single person has spent so many hours on their Animal Crossing world that some of these islands that you visit, they are so well put together. They have roads, they have stores, they have like gigantic houses, like different types of
what did we watch
layouts.
You showed me that one girl built a Target on her island.
An immersive Target. So she like it was the most insane that my brain could not figure out how she could have possibly do that. And I was like, I'm never gonna do I don't think I can ever do it. But I think I might do. I think I might
Can
do
you
it on
build
your
a-
island.
Can you build a target with like Jennifer Connelly inside of it?
Not unless she looked like an anteater or a bird or something. No.
Whatever works for you, buddy. Um,
If your friend comes in and
Yeah.
wants to dress like Jennifer Connelly,
Can you
that is
call her-
potentially possible. But it's
put
a
some
weird
roller
little
skates on 'em?
chibi Nintendo character version of her.
hey, whatever
Why does he have
floats
to
your
make
boat.
things so sexual over, about everything? It's Animal Crossing. For
I'm trying to make this
Christ's
game
sake.
mine.
It is, but it is overly cute, and to watch her play it, I play just about everything, and I played on my Switch, and would visit her island, and she would visit mine, and so that way you could do trading and build up your bank accounts and stuff. But I fell off after a year, so now she plays my island on my Switch,
Wagon.
and her island on her Switch on the TV, but she takes the Switch off the cradle and plays hers and visits my island on the television, and then back and forth. And there's stuff I haven't done yet, so she's now taking my character because she's done everything in her island, except for completely destroy it and start from scratch. So she's now finishing everything I never accomplished on my island and selling things back and forth between my character on mine and her character on hers.
With the
I'm
tickets,
elevating your character.
The Nook tickets? He has a question. Nook
yeah,
tickets?
no. With the tickets, you earn all these tickets and whatnot. On Saturday, do they have like a wristband day?
No wristband day.
No
They're
wristband
Nook-
day.
they're
or
Nook
is everything's
miles.
unlimited?
I mistakenly called them tickets. They look like tickets, but they're called Nook miles, which is basically Nook bucks, Nook tickets.
Yeah.
And you can redeem them for things,
Yeah.
not a wristband, but you can redeem them for like Mario pieces that you can like put on your island because Nintendo. You can redeem them for giant statues you can put on your island, or exclusive furniture in the store that only Nook Miles will get you. You can't get the blueprint for.
What about cocaine?
No cocaine on the island.
You can't grow
That'd be way
poppies
more
or anything?
No cocaine. No.
No cocaine?
No.
No yayo?
fun.
No. So
See,
yeah.
now, see if you can like build like the drug trade on your island and stuff like that. I mean,
You have to emphasize this. I love Animal Crossing so much that I had to repeat an entire semester at college.
Well, of one
because-
class, not of like
Yeah.
all the classes, but it was like one class that was particularly hard. And she's like, I can't deal with this anymore.
I just can't do it, so I just chose to pay Animal Crossing for that 3 months.
For that one class, not the rest. It was just the one
Yeah.
class.
Well, no, there's a lot you don't know.
Uh-oh.
oh,
But yeah, when you talk about drug trade, there is kind of a drug trade. Now here, I'll explain.
Uh-huh.
Who's
See, there always
the
is.
woman that randomly shows up on like Sunday? What is? It's not coconuts. What does she sell?
Turnips.
Turnips. She's a turnip salesman. She comes
yeah.
and she's got a little backpack, and she's constantly got a little bit of snot hanging out of her nose.
Right.
And she sells
Snot.
she sells you turnips, and it's the only place you can get them is from the turnip salesman. There's no trees. You can't go to any islands and get them.
Uh-huh.
And she'll sell them to you. And there's
It's a turnip stock trade.
yeah.
Yeah.
So depending on whose island you visit, if I go to hers, she would say like, my shop is buying them for 200 bells. My shop might only be buying them for 100. There were literally people. It was called the turnip market or something. There were people online posting what their turnip buy
Prices.
rate was.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to go and sell your turnips at their place, because they might be buying them for 1,500 bells a piece,
Uh-huh.
but you bought them for 90, well, that's your biggest buy low, sell high. People were literally charging people like Zelle, send me $5 and I'll give you my friend code.
Yeah.
And then they would give them the friend code, and then they'd go to the island and sell like 2,000 turnips and quadruple their money in their bank and then leave the island. But people were literally taking real world cash money
Yeah.
just to go on the island to get more money for the turnip trade.
This is really just one big crypto
Big
scam.
business.
It's a big crypto scam, he says.
Yeah. Yeah, this won't be a good time to put it out there since everyone's zelling and with Animal Crossing and whatnot.
About Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
I fully
It is
respect.
nuts.
Yeah. I play the Hollywood Stock Exchange. I've been playing it for 18 years now, and I'm actually ranked in the top 100 of all time currently.
Wow.
I will sell my account for $1 million to anyone who wants to take over the
Does he wanna
account.
fight me?
Throwing it
There you
out
go.
there.
Somebody want to fight you.
No, I don't
What's
fight
he
me.
saying? 'Cause I can't hear
Oh,
what he's saying.
he said he's been playing the Hollywood Stock Exchange website. It's like a game where you pick movies and you buy low, sell high. They give them at different rates. And he's currently in the top 100 of everybody on the world who plays online. And he's like, I will. Well, how much would you sell it for again?
$1 million.
$1 million. He'd sell his account for 1 million real world dollars.
I mean, 18 years of work. Just give me $1 million.
That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Well, thanks for your appearance.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Norm. Anyway.
But yeah, it's hilarious. It's so overly cute and schmaltzy and twee and silly, and these little chibi animals come up and they give you they randomly gives you like a nickname. So like I think when they talk to her, you don't get to pick it. The machine just does, the game just does it. So when they come up and talk to her on her island and her character, they'll come up and go, "Hey, Professor Pie."
Mm-hmm.
Like that's her silly name they call her. And someone at my island, they called me something silly, and it's just super cute and silly, and she loves it, and watching her play it is super cute, and it brings her nothing but joy, which in turn gives me joy. It's absolutely hilarious. So she'll be like, "Oh, I want to play some Animal Crossing." I'm like, "All right," and then I put on a game where I'm like, shooting someone in the face or something. But yeah, she'll sit and play this, and the cutesy little music's on in the background while I'm Doom Guy shooting a demon in the chest or whatever. Yeah, it's super cute. You only saw it briefly on New Year's Eve. We called you because she's like, I want to show them the New Year's Eve. It was literally a countdown because it knows where you are. So we're in the Central Time Zone. So it did a countdown at 20 seconds, and all the little people went to the town square, and you can move your little character to the town square, and then they shot off fireworks, and everyone's popping the little, the popper things to have confetti, and everything is just so super cute, and she loves it, and so I figured I'd bring that up because watching her always makes me laugh.
No, that's an important thing. I mean, we're you and your guests, that including me, are always talking about the things that make us happy, and the idea that something will make you happy because it makes someone else happy is something. If everyone would follow that model in the world, we'd probably be in a much better place in general.
Everybody's got their thing. Leave them alone.
Right.
Or
exactly.
Enjoy it. That they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
As long as they're not hurting anybody.
As long as you're not hurting anything or trying to tell me that your thing's better than mine, then that's all I'm saying. It's just like, I'll let you. You want to watch Hocus Pocus? That's your deal. Don't come at me and say Hocus Pocus is better than Back to the Future because you're gonna draw back a stump.
Well, well, again, I don't know how anybody could ever argue that.
I would like to. Wouldn't you like to meet that person though? Just to
I don't know. I don't know if I would want to meet that person.
Well, Hocus Pocus 2's coming out, so they're gonna come out.
Oh, she likes Hocus Pocus. I was thinking of something else. What was I thinking of?
She can like it.
No, I know, but I'm trying to think of something else. What's 13 going on 30 is one of those kind of movies.
Oh, crap.
People like Ella or not Enchanted.
Enchanted's good. Enchanted's a good movie. Yeah, no,
I was thinking of
good.
that kind of stuff instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
Beaches.
Beaches. You don't like beaches? Oh.
No.
There you go. But yeah, Animal Crossing, Nintendo Switch. They're not doing any more updates. They probably won't have a new game out for a while, but you can still go get it now and play it if you got a Switch.
All right, there you go.
I just will include. I don't know if anybody knows, but whoever's watching, if you're watching on YouTube, it won't automatically have the chat up. So if you look at the bottom of your video, depending on where you're watching, there should be a little button that says live chat. If you hit that, it'll throw a little chat window up either to the right or on top of the video, and then it'll give you a little area where you can type and communicate with either Childress or me or Mrs. Fun on the phone, and we'll read it off. I've been throwing in questions now, trying to get more interactive. So again, hit live chat, and if you're not already a subscriber, there should be a button right there on the screen somewhere. Should be big and red. If not, you'll have to click up. Click the little circle with the AF in it. Click that, and it'll say subscribe. Just hit subscribe, and then you'll get notifications and stuff when we're on. So that's our number ones. What's your number two?
My number two is something that, talk about something that has kept me sane throughout the last 2 years. Something that has kept me sane for a number of years, actually, and something that actually goes back very far within our own friendship. But it's something that we keep finding new iterations of. There's classic ones, and then there are live versions. There are non-live versions of these things. But I'm talking about prank phone calls. And there's nothing. I mean, you want to talk about like filling in a few moments of the day with just something goofy and stupid. The Jerky Boys goes back quite some time to where we were listening to them regularly, on drives to wherever we were going. I still remember that first time they put out the CD, and we went out and each bought a copy of it and listening to it in the car, and we couldn't.
That was because I had a bootleg cassette.
Yes, that was the first time I heard it.
Probably about, I think it's like half of that first CD, and then there was stuff on the cassette that wasn't even on the CD. But I had gotten a bootleg from somebody.
You have to check YouTube. Okay, now when we're talking about prank phone calls, go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Because you can find just about anything you want. That very bootleg tape is on YouTube. The very tape, the first time I heard it was at one of the very few high school parties that I was actually invited to and attended. And I just remember a couple of us were just a little bit off outside. I don't even remember the context. It's like one of these weird memories. I don't even have the context of the party. I don't remember whose party it was, the context of it, why I was there, why I was invited in the first place. All I remember is hearing the Jerky Boys tape. And we're, again, losing our minds because it's just I'm swearing and being abrasive to people that probably don't deserve such abrasiveness, but it's just
sandalwood, whatever the F you guys call it. Yeah.
And it's just, and admittedly, some of it probably doesn't hold the scrutiny test, to where we are today, granted. Okay. But it's, a lot of it is still very, very funny. But again, they were not the first people to do prank phone calls. And they certainly, weren't the last either. But as soon as people started putting soundboards together, and I remember even, I think it was even before YouTube, where I would find things on the people were sharing on like downloadable sites,
like
and things
Napster
like
and all that.
Napster, LimeWire, those types of things, and
Schwarzenegger soundboards,
soundboards, De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, the worst possible combinations of their dialogue that you could possibly imagine. And now you just go on YouTube and you find 56 minutes of presidents terrorizing Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it's so, I mean, they don't even have like fresh bits sometimes. Sometimes it's just the same, they're just hitting the exact same things. And it's just like, there's one.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
I don't hear that one as much anymore.
No?
At least on some of these newer ones. I mean, that was a big one when I first heard it. And it still shows up now again. But there's one where it's just a constant. I've listened to like 2 hours of it the other day, by the way. So I'm not obsessed at all with this stuff. But there's one going on right now where you have Schwarzenegger like saying, President Biden is just trying to kill me.
I wonder where they got that from.
I don't know. And just the way they put it together is
okay.
And it's like, President Biden's been trying to kill me ever since I went to recall. Just like
just cutting it up and making their own now.
Right, exactly. And I'm just, I mean, some of my favorite. Anytime you get the clip of him going, why not? Just kills me every single time. And
it's not a tumor.
You don't hear that one.
No, not anymore.
You don't really hear it. It's not a tumor. I mean, that's everyone does that one.
Sure.
I rarely hear that on the prank phone call. I mean, the daddy one was big. Well, why not? Is a big one. Every once in a while he throws in my CPU as a my is a CPU processor, a learning computer.
Terminator.
Yeah, just out of the blue, stuff like that. And of course, you and I are fans of what Howard Stern
does.
And
again, not everything ages properly, and we're aware of this.
Yes,
but there is stuff that is okay and is still hilarious. And he does a thing with Greta Thunberg. Remember when she did the speech and she says, "How dare you?
How dare you?"
Yeah,
I've heard the one with the was it Sal's father, who's like his father like 18 kids and like something like that. I heard that one on one of the Labor Day calls. How dare you?
Because
How
he said,
dare
"Oh,
you."
he said, Dad, I found another one of my sisters."
Yeah.
Because his dad, in real life, I guess, had fathered some children
Yeah.
that the Sal wasn't aware of. And so he's like, "Oh, I found another sister." And then it was Greta Thunberg's voice from all the speeches where she's yelling at everybody.
How dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? And then he's
Dare you.
yelling at her. He's yelling at Sal. He's yelling. Even if it's not the soundboard ones, which are, of course, are always funny, no matter who does them, because all the silly voices.
Mhm.
When Sal calls the pizza place from the train, he's waiting for his train to show up.
Yeah, so
the train's not there yet. And then every time the train comes by, he yells out the order, but the guy can't hear it. And the guy just rips into him. "Don't ever call me again." He's like, "What? You didn't get my order?" Or he orders the pizza without.
I don't need this.
I don't want. What do you want? I want a large pie. Okay, large pie. What do you want on it? The Supreme. Okay, good. But I don't want the sausage. Okay, Supreme, no sausage. And none of the pepperoni.
Nice.
So, okay, you want a Supreme, no sausage, no pepperoni. Yeah, and no onions, and no peppers, and no cheese, and no sauce. So, what, you just want the crust? Yeah, that's what I want. He goes, "You want the crust?" And the guy starts yelling at him. Yeah.
And then, of course, Richard calls him back. as old woman Richard. He's like, "Hold the chicken and hold the sauce."
How dare you yell at my son? Yeah. What do you? Hey, dude, stop calling me dude. I'm an old lady. But it's
Give me a big
Richard.
ziti. Hold the ziti. I turn into a stupid child when I hear this stuff. An absolutely stupid child. It all resonates with me. It is just, it's.
That was for a wake too, wasn't it? He was ordering food for a wake. He's like, I don't know, maybe some big ziti. What do you want? This big? All right, big ziti. Yeah, but hold the ziti. What are you, an idiot? You know, the guy starts.
Yeah, and yes, there are some very over the line stuff, but again, it's meant not to be appropriate. That's the thing sometimes about comedy. It's not meant to be, appropriate.
But even that, there's a lot of that stuff that will pass the test.
Oh,
and not be
definitely.
offensive to people. But
yeah,
like you're ordering a dumb pizza. He does the one where he calls the pizza place with the auto tune.
Oh, yeah,
and he's auto tuning his voice, and the girl that answers the phone it loves it. She's cracking up the entire time. Yeah.
And he also does the monster trucks. The guy he orders the monster trucks.
Sunday.
Give me 5 more sausage. That.
My dad used to be an announcer. He doesn't do it anymore. Would you let him order the pizza that way? Yeah, sure.
He's all
go
in
ahead.
the monster trucks. I don't know. I've listened to that. I listened to that stuff so much during the last 2 years. Particularly those first year where I just needed something, and I use that as background noise too. Which is weird, might be weird, but I use that as background noise because even if I just pick up on something, it's gonna make me laugh, and sometimes it actually makes me prevent from working sometimes because I'm laughing so hard. But then again, like you said, there's so many iterations of this. And these are just a few things that we like, and then you have the people, which I have done myself on many occasions, is the people who get online with the fraudulent computer scammers.
Oh, so good.
And start jacking around with them, which I have done. I mean, again, especially during the last 2 years, I got a lot of those computer scammer calls.
Well, have you seen the ones that they don't just mess with them like you do? Like
they go into their computers and stuff.
Well, they're actually hackers, like high level white. They call them white hat hackers. They're good guy hackers.
Right.
Yeah, and they go into their computers, turn on their webcams in the foreign country, go in and go, "I can see you. I see your shirt you're wearing. I see this," and the people freak out. And they're like, "Oh, you need all that information on your computer?" And remotely wipe their hard drives and stuff.
Yes.
And while they're watching, he goes, "If you don't stop this, I'm gonna wipe all your information out, all your bank accounts." And everybody's like, "Oh my god!" And then they send the authorities to go shut these places down. Mm-hmm. But they also do funny stuff leading up to that.
Sometimes, I mean, the stuff where they hack, that stuff usually isn't as funny.
No,
it's
true.
It's funny on just a moral basis. It's funny. But the ones where they're like literally jacking with them, and which is something that I got pretty good at.
Like which button do I have to hit? And they talk real long, and they don't let the person get to where they need to get.
Because you always get the, people who don't get these calls. You normally you get the guy and he says, "I'm from Microsoft and I'm doing this thing and I have to get into your computer.
Just hit this button. Let me get remote access.
Right.
I'll fix it." Yeah.
And the one question you will always hear, and I mean, if you haven't figured out they're a scammer by now, but the one question you always hear is, "What do you see on your computer right now?" And then they try to get you to tell you what you're looking at, and then they say, "Okay, now hit these buttons," and then they try to get you into the thing. And of course, I let them talk me through the entire thing and say, "Yes, I'm doing this. Yes, I'm doing this. What are you looking at now?" "I'm looking at Pornhub." I mean, it's just anything that I could think of. And the goal, I always played the game myself. To win is to get them to swear at you.
Yeah. Yes.
If you can get them to swear, if they just hang up, you lost. It's really kind of a waste of time. But if you can get them to swear at you and say they're gonna, or kill you, even sometimes you can get them to say the most ridiculous, horrific things, and they're completely full of crap and everything. But
and really, when it comes down to it, you're the one person that has affected them that day, and obviously it makes you feel good, and it makes me feel good too watching people do it. Yeah. But that the sad part is like 1 out of every 10 or 20, and again, I'm making that number up, but it's enough where they can continue to do this. They're getting people to give them $3,000, $6,000, $5,000 to whatever, thousands of dollars a day. They're making enough to continue to be in business. So your little bit of 20 minutes of fun, people go, "Well, you don't have to harass the guy." Yeah, I think it's.
Are there people out there that actually defend?
But I think it's like, I just hang up on them, just whatever.
Yeah, if they're not, if I'm wasting. I've had times I've just I don't got time for this. Yeah. But if I get the opportunity where they lead me into it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to jack with this person for a few minutes.
Yeah, and totally justified.
Endless pleasure.
What was that documentary? I still haven't. I don't think I. Excuse me. I don't think I watched it. Where the guy lived next door to the guy, and were they just having? Excuse me. Were they just having arguments, or was it a prank call situation?
The one where they've had like the tapes of the people next door.
Well, yeah, those were just arguments.
There's a documentary called "Shut Up, Little Man."
But it's just them arguing, or were they calling?
No, it's arguing. It's just,
that's not the same.
Yeah, but it's a fascinating documentary. If you like stuff like like Winnebago Man and things like that, you just love people weird vulgar behavior and whatnot. They have these. They don't even know who was behind. I mean, there was like this mystery of who was behind on the other side of their apartment, saying, "Shut up, little man." They get in this argument. Was it a father and a son? Were they brothers? Like, what was going on? And the documentary "Shut Up, Little Man" is about. And again, those were underground tapes. Those were actually they taped them, and they became this underground thing that people were sharing with one another because they were so hilarious.
I wanted to say there was a documentary or something involving prank calls to a particular business that got them for like 30 years or something. And they finally, no one had ever figured out why they wouldn't leave these people alone. I'll have to look it up. I could be wrong, but
I'm not too familiar with that one either. There's a movie called that Jonathan Brandmeier used to play clips from all the time called The Corn Dog Man, and it's this weird little independent movie where the star of the movie was Noble Willingham, who plays Shelley Marcone in Last Boy Scout.
Okay,
he's the star. He's the star of the movie, and he owns I don't remember, it's like a car business or something like that. And just someone just keeps calling up and harassing him, and a large part of the movie is just him reacting to this guy calling him and like threatening him and saying those horrible things about him. And it's just like, "I will come there, I will stomp your ass and put a foot up your," and just the insults that he was coming up with are the clips that Brandmeier would play all the time.
Okay, all right.
It's called the Corn Dog Man. Yeah, it's probably not. I don't know how easy it is to find, but yeah. So there's that. So yeah, prank phone calls.
So good.
I mean, it's again, if you're overly sensitive, if you're worried that something might be offensive, maybe stay away.
And I'll find the ones that are more appropriate. I'll find some of those, and I'll throw some links like I always do to all the stuff we talk about. It'll be in the notes, not only if you're listening to this on iTunes. If you hit the little button for the show notes, it'll be down there with links. You can just click them. It'll take you right to YouTube. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, the links will be down below. You just go ahead and click them, and it'll take you to some of these. And again, I'll try to find the more
There are plenty of
stuff.
appropriate clips, but again, if you're
needs
adventurous,
properly.
though, just click on anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I hadn't thought about Jerky Boys in a while. That's hilarious.
The fact that the Jerky Boys even got brought up on Arrested Development at one point.
Oh yeah, they had a movie.
I know they had a movie.
I know, but like it got so big. These two idiots that just used to tape themselves. They literally had a movie that they got to write and act in.
No, I don't think they wrote it.
I thought they wrote some of it. Aren't they credited as writers?
I think they wrote. I mean, they were kind of redoing a lot of their bits from the.
Of course, but they got credited. I'm almost 100% sure they're in there as co-writers or something.
Maybe they got a story credit or something.
Maybe.
I don't remember
That makes sense.
But Arrested Development was years later. It was further after people had forgotten about the Jerky Boys, and then you have this bit where Ron Howard, who narrates the show, has Michael Cera and Aaliyah Shawkat trying to do Jerky Boys, but they're horrible at it. And so Ron Howard's just like, George Michael had recently become fascinated by a group called the Jerky Boys. And you just see him, and he'd just call up and he'd be like, "Hey, Jerky," and he'd be like, "George, is that you?" He's just horrible at it.
Frank Rizzo, open your ears, jackass. Yeah,
R-I-Z-Z-O.
I still do that if I see the name Rizzo, which of course with the Cubs, it was all the time. You'll just hear me probably mutter under my breath, R-I-Z-Z-O. Yeah.
Of course, there was a Frank Rizzo, New York mayor named Frank Rizzo.
Was there really? That's probably where they got it from, because I think they were from Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's definitely where they got it from. And there's a newer. I don't have it, but when I play it on Alexa and whatnot, the stream Jerky Boys. Every once in a while, there's a clip from one of the newest batch of things, and there's actually one on there where he does mess with a telemarketer at one point.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought about. Oh, with Jeopardy. I just thought about the Jeopardy one.
Your favorite one.
Yeah, he's libeled us.
If
Slap you across the mouth.
Answers like that man is, during the commercial break, punch your fucking mouth loose. Talking about Alex Trebek.
Oh my god. How many pits?
How many pits are in a pear? See, this is what happens, people. This is how we were when we first heard these tapes. How many pits are in a pear? 2. Damn well there's much more than 2 pits in a pear. As if that's a Jeopardy question.
Because they started putting things in the WAD ads, so you would call because you wanted to be a contestant. You would call their number, and then they would get you, and then they would harass you on the phone, and it would be like you want to be a contestant on game shows, and he has the attitude of, "Oh, you want to be on a game show? All right, you got to answer some questions." And they just fire off these dumb questions, and of course his answers are wrong. Yeah. But he would just ridicule the person that called him. Oh my god!
What are the similarities between an elephant and a tiger? They both live in the jungle. But it's wrong, because they are both marsupials. Member of the marsupial family.
Oh my god! Half of these things are busted. Yeah, and to this day. Oh god. I'm gonna have to listen to them tonight.
Almost run off the road listening.
Like I told you, there's some things in my music thing. So, I throw in all the songs that I want. At some point now, it's like 4 days worth of music or something. So it's randomly. It's all over the place. All their stuff is in Apple Music. So I just liked every single one. So randomly, you'll have, like I always say, it's so, I'll have it'll be like Led Zeppelin, then it'll be like the Beastie Boys, then it'll be Tori Amos, then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Frank Rizzo, open your... it's like it puts it in as a song, and then the next is like, Journey or something. Or, Ice-T or something comes on after it. Oh, God, so good.
Yeah.
So good. All right, I'll find some good ones, and I'll put the links in
Good.
the thing. My number 2, we were talking... I gotta wipe my eyes. Your number 1 was a TV show, and we went back because we had finished... I should have talked about Love is Blind, because we watched Love is Blind, and we ended up watching Love is Blind 2. It's the most ridiculous show in the history of everything, because it's just dumb. But anyway, after that was over, Mrs. Fun's a huge Supernatural fan.
Okay.
And it's not my thing. it's okay. And if she's watching it, I'll watch some. But
Mhm.
I wasn't aware that the guy who did that show is either part showrunner or one of the sporadic directors of The Boys.
Oh, okay.
And we had stopped mid-season 2. The last episode we had watched was where the Deep is trying to get back on the team, and he tries to catch him on the boat with the whale, and he beaches the whale, and then they take the boat and smash right into the whale and kill it.
Yeah.
That's the last episode we had seen. We had stopped there, which I think was like episode 4 of season 2.
Midway through, I think.
Yeah, about there, because I think there was 9 episodes or 10.
Yeah.
And we had heard that the second season had gotten better, and we just never went back. And so she's like, hey, she now knows that one of the guys from Supernatural is going to be on season 3. And it turns out, I think his name's Kripke. He's the showrunner, I think, for Supernatural. And now I've seen his name pop up while we've been watching The Boys. So she's like, I kind of want to watch that. So when the guy comes out, I want to finish it. And I said, you know what? We should have gone back. So anyway, we went back and we watched episode 4 again, where they smash into the whale. And we watched that episode to catch up. And then we finished off season 2. And I don't know I can understand if you don't like the violence. I can understand if you don't like maybe an actor in there or something. But the story, you don't need to be a superhero fan to appreciate what they're doing there. And it's completely a deconstruction of superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
The good guys are really the bad guys, or they are selfish. They're not 100% pure and nice and helpful. They got a dark side too, or corporate controlled, almost like a RoboCop-y kind of thing. Like the corporation controls them, and so they're not quite what they should be. Although RoboCop, obviously, ultimately, his good side comes out, his original side comes out, and he's a better cop and person for it. The Boys aren't that. It doesn't matter whether you release them from corporate control or not. They're most of them are genuinely not nice human beings or superheroes. And the season ends, I thought, really well. There's major beats that they change, which I'm not a huge fan. Seth Rogen did that with Preacher. Seth Rogen is doing that with The Boys. I understand. Sometimes they feel like it's a better story for it, or, might give a little bit more complexity for this character or that character or whatever. But there's whole swaths of this that are different, and I'm not a fan of changing things just for the sake of change. Yes, I understand it might give you some more juice to use for the story you want to tell. But I've learned to be able to sort of disconnect myself from that and just watch their version when they change it.
Peter Dinklage actually had a quote recently that I read where he's because he was talking about the changes with Cyrano and the text that they do with Cyrano, and he said, like, if you just do a straight adaptation of the book, why don't I just read the book? And I think that there's something to that. I mean, I get that, sometimes there are things that are kind of so iconic that changing them might be sacrilege or something like that. But, if you change the essence of who characters are and stuff like that. But I think that if you are finding a way to tell the greater story that you're got your focus on, again, I don't have a connection to the comics on The Boys, so I don't have that going in. Is much the case of any books that a lot of things that I see adapted into movies. There's a very good chance I have not read the book yet, so I don't have that thing. But there are occasions where that does happen, and it doesn't. Again, if you do it in a way that that satisfies what the story is ultimately about, then I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Or if you find something within the text that maybe they didn't explore and you take it in that direction, I have zero problem with that.
Well, that's the thing is, I like offshoots. I like diverging, to tell a different tale that maybe wasn't in the book. I think that's really smart. It gives more what do they call it? Like world building, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Walking Dead would do that sometimes where, the comic would be, this, and this, and Walking Dead would do an episode where they specifically explore one character for a whole episode. It would be something the comic couldn't do or didn't do or whatever. And you'd be like, well, that character's interesting. It's cool that we get this whole episode where you get to explore the character a little bit more. It doesn't change the book. You can appreciate it on a whole nother level. You can say, wow, I didn't know about that character. It's interesting what they're doing with that character. And I find that interesting. I find, if you want to, I don't know. I don't like things to be changed just for the sake of changing. And I think in some cases, like with Preacher and with this, and again, I'm trying to get to the positive part, but the idea is I'm not a huge fan of, like in this particular case, Stormfront is not the same character, and I don't care that they gave it to an actress instead of an actor, a female actor as opposed to a male actor or whatever. But what that does do is that does fundamentally change that character and story relating to that character.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a different version to me. It's the TV version. I liked the version in the comic, and it turns out I like the TV version. So I'm not someone who's like, I don't like that it's a girl. It's not that. It's I like continuity. I like what I'm familiar with. I don't need this issue is this episode, and this issue is this episode, and it's going to be the exact same words and the exact same everything. I don't need it to that level. And if you're going to tell a good story, which the boys did, and that's where I'm going with this, is I really liked how they when they did change her, or Stormfront to a female, and they made the romance and all that stuff between. Well, I don't know if you want to call it a romance. But yeah, in big air quotes. I don't know if you want to call it a romance, but when they did that with her and Homelander, that is not at all in the books. So it's a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind that they use the character of Stormfront. I'm fine with that. I'm fine that they changed the character to a female. Whatever. I because of continuity more so. I'm used to that character's resolution being completely different and it not being this at all. So it just took a second to adjust. Like, oh, I see. This is what they're doing. I think they could have done it very easily, having that same actress and creating a whole new character like they did with, what's his name on Walking Dead?
Negan?
No, the guy with the bike. Daryl. He's not in the comics at all. That character doesn't even exist.
Right.
And so, I'm fine with adding stuff to it. I'm fine with having more women in it. I'm fine with it, whatever. I'm fine with this. But when they show the character, I was like, oh, okay, what are they doing with this? Let's see if they do anything. If they had not done what they did and just changed it to a female actress, I think they would have done themselves a disservice. But the fact that they then use that character in a completely different way with Homelander, I ended up really liking it. And we like the show, and I'm glad we caught back up with it. Kind of like you're saying, like, oh, I got to hear, and we kind of went back. We hadn't watched it since episode 4 aired. So what are you talking, a year? It's got to be a year. And so she's like, hey, that other character's blah blah blah. So we threw. Not only that, but it turns out the Homelander at the same time the guy who plays Homelander got arrested for beating some guy up at a bar somewhere. So or assault. Right. Allegedly, I don't even know if I have to do this legally. Allegedly, he was arrested and charged somewhere with assault and some other issues. So look up the article. I'm not saying he's guilty, but he was arrested. So that brought it back into our mind, and then her connection. But we really liked it. And man, that guy that plays Homelander, he's so good.
Scum. Yeah,
he is
scum.
so good.
Yeah, smarmy scum.
What was he in before The Boys?
I was not familiar with him.
Oh, okay.
No.
He's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, like frighteningly good.
And I like Urban being Butcher, Billy Butcher.
Urban's fun on the show. I like Urban. I think Jack Quaid is very good at every man. Yeah. In that role. I
liked Shu in season 1.
She was good in season 1. What's I'm blanking on her name.
Like secretary or
no
administrative assistant.
The super the love interest of Quaid. Starlight.
Aaron
Moriarty. Yeah, I almost said I almost said someone else's name, but no, Aaron Moriarty. I think I like her on the show too.
Yeah, she's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good show. They just released I think it's 6 or 8 episodes. They're little 15-minute cartoons, all done in different styles by different like cartoon companies, and each story is written by a different creator. One of them being Garth Ennis, who is the guy who wrote The Boys.
Okay.
The comic book. And so he did one of the little 15-minute shorts. And one of the art studios that did one of the 15-minute episodes are the guys who do Rick and Morty.
Okay.
And so I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the Garth Ennis one. We haven't watched those yet. So we're going to catch up on that. Season 3, I don't know when it's coming out. But
sometime this summer, I think.
We just got back into The Boys, and we really enjoyed it up to the end of season 2 here. And then we're going to watch the little cartoon vignette things that they're doing. This season 3, if it's following at all what kind of the next sort of chunk of the books are, it's gonna get even weirder than it already is. So be prepared. I can't even get into it out here. That's how
you warned me about how crazy the show gets or the storyline gets, and it certainly lived up to it so far. I think it's a solid show. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so my number 3, frequently on my podcast, Movie Madness podcast, for years, Sergio Mims, who you had on the show last week, which was kind of awesome. Him and I have.
I got a story to tell at the end. Remind me about Sergio.
Okay, great. We've talked. We have done regular segments where we talk about Blu-rays and new stuff, and we do break down whole studios and their new stuff and everything. We do that frequently. We do that on the WHPK radio show that we did, and then we've transplanted it to the podcast where we can do it a bit more regularly. And we're such proponents of physical media, and you of all people certainly appreciate that, given your struggles with streaming services.
Yep. And
trying to find. I'm still amazed you found Roxanne. Frankly, where did you find Roxanne, by the way?
Roxanne was, I think it's on YouTube with ads. There's a lot of movies, by the way, on YouTube with ads.
Yes, there are.
So if you can't find it on other things, you might be able to find it on YouTube, but it's got ads. So it's basically like watching when we were kids on TV with ads.
Yeah.
But
don't like it.
Where did we end up finding it? Hulu.
Okay.
Hulu had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. Props to Hulu. Oh, they got Only Murders there, so it makes sense they'd probably throw a couple of Steve Martin movies on their platform. But I wanted to focus because there's one studio. There are a number of studios, and this is probably something I'll end up doing again for some other studio. But one studio that has just been a consistent source over the years for genre fans. Okay, science fiction, horror, weird, obscure, cult titles and things like that.
Full Moon Studios.
It's not Full Moon Studios. That's a whole other kind of pleasure. But Shout Factory.
Yes.
Shout Factory, who also have a channel online, has a constant streaming of MST3K episodes and things like that.
They are also on Twitch.
Yes.
So if you're a Twitch viewer, look up Shout Factory. They play I think it's the same channel, the one you're talking about. It might be different, but they play movies and old TV shows, and So anyway, it's 24 hours a day on Twitch.
Yeah, and the reason why I wanted to highlight them today, because I just got one of their upcoming titles. It's not even out yet, but I'm going to show it on camera in a moment. That is just, even it doesn't even have to be a great movie. Sometimes it'll be just something that you remember, particularly from our days at the video store, even.
Oh, yeah.
That just kind of sparks memories and things like that. And over the last 6 months or so. I mean, I have to go back and look at their entire schedule, but there haven't been a lot of titles that they've released that have really kind of jumped out to me. Maybe because they've done so many great things. I brought some visual aids here to show people some of the things that they have done over the years. They've done a lot of John Carpenter stuff and Joe Dante and everything. But most recently, on one of our Blu-ray show, or not on Blu-ray shows.
And this is your the Movie Madness podcast.
The Movie Madness podcast, yes. Sergio Mims and I have been doing a segment for years called "Why Is This Not on Blu-ray?" And you think about things that are available on DVD, whether the rights have fallen off or the studio is just not interested in putting it on Blu-ray. There's not a big demand for it. But there are there are a lot of titles you're like, well, that's look, there's all this crap is on Blu-ray. Why isn't this on Blu-ray? To this day, Dragon Slayer is still not on Blu-ray. Now that's a huge rights issues with Walt Disney and Paramount.
So I can't comprehend how no one has figured. Even there with the rights issues, you think Disney's got money coming out of their ears. Why isn't it on Disney Plus? Remaster the thing, throw it up on Disney Plus. People will watch. I know they have issues with PG-13 and R, but they could figure it out.
Yeah, that one is a particular kind of thorn, only because again the rights issues, because that was 2 studios that put that movie out. So there's a whole, even though Paramount has it out on DVD and a really horrible DVD, I think it's actually on 4K on Amazon, or at least a high def version is on Amazon. So there is some progress there. But even a movie like William Freakin' Sorcerer, which was at our first film festival that you were there for, right? That was such a big deal because that movie wasn't available anywhere. Like even on Laserdisc, it wasn't even in widescreen. That's how bad that movie was being botched. And now after we had done that, magically that movie ended up on Blu-ray. They kind of just solved the rights issues. But so Dragon Slayer is one of those things. But one of the titles I brought up on one of the last 2 episodes of Why Is This Not on Blu-ray that I brought up is this one right here. Oops, hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
I am not familiar with that. I don't think.
You're not familiar?
Wait, didn't they remake that recently?
Well, no, you might be thinking of Lake Placid, which is a giant.
There was one where it was like the bayou and like a hurricane came in and there were people that were trying to swim for their lives.
That
it
was
gators.
It was gay. Yeah, it was a flood. It was a hurricane, flood water, but it's not this. This is literally alligators in the sewers. Okay. The movie begins with the kid has a pet alligator and the dad literally takes the alligator and flushes it down the toilet.
Of course. Why would you?
And of course, it gets involved in some, toxic waste that's down in the sewers, and
it doesn't turn into a ninja with a different colored headband.
No, because this is reality.
Yeah.
He becomes a giant creature and terrorizes people, and this movie used to play on cable quite a bit.
I really don't remember it.
You should really watch it because it's really. This is 1980. I think this is 1980. I think that's the year this came out. So like in the wake of Jaws, everyone was trying to do their own creature features and whatnot and trying to upend Jaws. There was Piranha and, there are a couple, gems out there.
Ultimately led to Anaconda.
Anaconda, exactly. And this is actually one of them. And it's, for one, it stars Robert Forster, the great Robert Forster from The Black Hole. Later nominated for Jackie Brown, has had a great career. Just passed away within the last year and a half. But he's the star of this movie. And that's probably one of the reasons why I watched it as a kid, because I was a huge Black Hole fan. And so here, even though a giant alligator would scare the shit out of me, which it did. The fact
Sergio says the movie I'm talking about is called Crawl.
Crawl,
not Crawl.
Not
That's
Crawl.
a whole different movie.
Whole other. Yes, Crawl, which is not a movie that I like. A lot of people like that movie.
Really?
I think
people that like that movie.
Oh, the people that love that movie. Love
I
that
remember
movie.
Making fun of the preview. The second
you should make fun of the preview because it's bad. It's not good. It's not good. The sound wasn't bad, and that's about the best thing I could say about it. but again, so this movie was only available on DVD for years, never got a proper release, and Shout Factory did the whole skip the triple dare and went straight to the triple dog dare and released it in 4K.
Okay.
So
Stop
we
it.
we
They
went from
remastered it in 4K.
4K. This is not 4K master. This is a 4K release of Alligator, and it's glorious. It's absolutely glorious, and people and one of the reasons it is so glorious is because one of the people behind it is the writer John Sayles. And if that name doesn't ring a bell, I mean, John Sayles is sort of like an indie legend in many ways.
From the Corman School of.
He came from the Corman School.
Did he really? I guess that.
Oh, yes. No. He came. Absolutely no. He absolutely came from the Corman School. He actually wrote this movie, also a Shout Factory release.
Okay.
Gotcha. I
Gotcha.
love this movie, which is basically Magnificent Seven in space.
Sure.
They did a Star Wars film. Who did the special effects on this one?
Battle Beyond the Stars.
Trivia.
Well, it wouldn't have been ILM. Wouldn't have been Lucas.
No, I'm thinking of one man. Went on to quite the career
In special effects.
in directing.
Oh, as if it's Corman, it would be Terminator. James Cameron. Yeah.
James Cameron did the special effects on this. Galen Hurd produced it. James Horner did the score for it, and John Sayles wrote it. And like I said, it's magnificent. It's totally Magnificent Seven in space. But John Sayles has gone on to a really great independent career. He wrote 8 Men Out, about your little White Sox, the crap.
White Sox.
Yeah, the crap that they did. Which, by the way, I saw a documentary today about it. It's playing South by Southwest, but it's about Nolan Ryan. So you know where I'm going with that.
Oh, the Punch.
Yes,
the Punch heard around the world.
They go into it.
Yeah.
They go into even a little bit behind the scenes about how why Ventura even charged the mound.
Right.
Because there was actually a bounty on Nolan.
On Ryan. Well,
yeah. Because he hit like someone else in the series, so that like the White Sox, the behind the scenes, they put like the first guy gets hit, you better go out there and get him. And when they play the footage, they're just like, you can see like Robin didn't really want to go out there. Like he kind of like, okay, and he kind of charges, and then he's kind of like, and then does one of these.
Robin was not the tough guy.
No, not even tough enough to be interviewed, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually put up the Robin Ventura declined to be interviewed for the
video's good enough. He gets his ass kicked. It is what it is. You don't need more explanation than that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, so he did 8 Men Out. He did a great movie that I just talked about on this podcast from 1992 called Passion Fish with Mary McConnell and Alfred Woodard. Lone Star, one of Matthew McConaughey's early roles.
And he wrote Alligator.
Yeah, he wrote Alligator.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Cameron came from Piranha 3D.
Yeah, well, that was
and look what Cameron did. So again, but it's surprising.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, you come from the Corman world, you end up doing movies like Joe Dante. Again, Joe Dante, eventually would go on to do movies like that.
Explorers is so good.
This one again, Shout Factory. Finally, this is another one that was on one of our earliest why is this not on Blu-ray shows? Again, kind of a rights issue. There's some extra footage that Dante wanted out there, but Shout Factory finally put it out. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a full commentary with. It's got some deleted scene commentary with Dante. It's not the greatest package that they've ever done, but the fact that it's finally on Blu-ray and not on a crappy DVD version.
Is that just 1080 or is that 4K?
Just 1080. This one is 4K.
Okay, hold on. Alligator is 4K. Explorers is only 1080.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Well, they're just getting their 4K dithers going right now, and they've just announced a whole bunch of 4K releases in May. Actually,
and obviously none of us work for any of these things
No,
that talked
not
about
at
it,
all.
and you don't work for Shout Factory, but they do compensate. They give you like a copy to review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yeah, good, important distinction. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
But again, I brought visual aids for people who want to know some of the things that they put out there. And we're talking like,
come on,
this package. This is an incredible package. It has the old commentary that Russell and Carpenter did, which is one of this anything. Again, any Kurt Russell commentary is a must own. Just period. I don't care what it is. If Kurt Russell did a commentary for Soldier, I would buy it. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Then of course.
Come on.
And they just announced
the movie he just showed was They Live with the awesome Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper. Yeah.
And he does commentary on this with Carpenter too, and it's a great commentary because we saw at the flashback weekend.
We met him. We got to meet Roddy Piper.
We got to meet Roddy Piper, and you could tell even then that how grateful he was to be in this movie.
Oh,
you heard in his voice that, and it's really, this is legacy stuff right here.
Oh,
it's just right. Even if he was never a wrestler, he's in They Live. That's the kind of stuff.
Again, like I said, the thing about Body Snatchers, one of the best line readings ever in the spooky, creepy version.
Yeah.
He has one of the best action hero lines and the best reading of it ever.
That he wrote.
Yeah.
It's his line.
I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Yeah.
And I'm all out of bubblegum. It's and the way he reads it with the attitude. And again, he gets all that from his wrestling days of having to improv and do that stuff live. It's that line reading is glorious.
Yeah.
Shout Factory put that out too.
This is also Shout Factory.
Okay.
These great artworks on their covers and whatnot is really fantastic. And they just announced in May there's going to be a 4K of Escape from New York.
Oh wow!
So that's going to be coming out. The Thing's got a 4K from Universal. Sometimes studios double dip and whatnot, but that's that. So in the 4K in May, they're releasing Escape from New York. They're doing The Craft. Again, people like what they like. I'm not a fan of that movie. And the original Candyman is going to be in 4K, Chicago based. But again, that's Shout Factory.
People Under the Stairs.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
What is it? It says collectors at 4K or 1080.
These are all 1080. These all
the rest of them
are 1080s.
But these were not on Blu-ray before, or hadn't been for a long time.
Right. Again, some of these are a little older. I just went to my shelf and picked the first ones that I could find. There's so many more of these.
H.P. Lovecraft's From Beyond. I was literally talking. Sergio's here now. Still remember when Nick and I told Gail and Ann how much we love Bad Dreams. He says, Sergio and I were just talking the other night about H.P. Lovecraft and how he can be very problematic once you learn about him. But, he's not exactly the greatest guy. But that movie, it's only based on his work, and it's I think From Beyond is not one of the ones that touches on some of the crappy things.
No. This is a very sexual horror film. The pituitary gland and all this kind of stuff, and also has the great Barbara Crampton in it. She's awesome.
Who follows you on Twitter?
That's right.
Right. Firestarter, so good.
The remake coming out in May.
TV show.
Well, no, it's going to be on. No, I thought it was just going to be on Peacock. Yeah, because Universal is releasing it. So
it's a movie?
It's a movie.
Oh, I thought it was a TV show.
No, it's a movie.
Oh.
And it's coming out in theaters, and it's going to be on Peacock the same weekend. Trailer, I don't know, but that and then of course, I'm a fan. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Firestarter, so good.
The last 20 minutes of this movie are awesome. I've always kind of had a fan, and then of course, if you're really going to talk about the crown jewel of Shout Factory releases, it's that one right there.
We were talking about that why were we talking about that? Someone's in that Ninja 3: The Domination. It's one of the actors in there. What was his name? Why were we talking about this?
Lucinda Dickey is the star of the movie. Is that who you're referring to?
Maybe.
Yes, she's from Breakin'.
Breakin'.
Ellie from Breakin'. Yes,
that's why.
Which I always contend, and I've said this before, that I think a case could be made. This is actually Breakin' 3.
She turns into a ninja.
Turns into a ninja because again, the other ninja, there's Enter the Ninja and I think Revenge of the Ninja, if I'm getting that right. And then so this is
why not? I'm sure that's
right. And this is Ninja 3: The Domination, and this is basically, you know, if Flashdance had ninjas in it, basically is what they came up with, because the Jazzercise plays a role in this movie, and this also has the infamous V8 love scene in it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's literally the least, as much as I love Lucinda Dickey. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that doesn't even look like her, by the way.
So lovely.
But
yeah, it's not the greatest artist rendering.
Yeah. So she saved the town. She saved the community center. Then,
right.
went got herself a black belt in ninja skills.
No, she's possessed by a ninja.
Oh, okay, possessed by a ninja. All right,
she's possessed by a ninja. No, I mean, we're talking about. I mean, we could talk all night about this movie.
Yeah, what?
But no, she actually. I mean, remember in Flashdance, she was a welder by day and dancer by night.
But that's Flashdance, though. Yeah,
right.
In this case,
she's a telephone. What is the job? She repairs telephone lines.
Okay, yeah, telephone line
does that by day, and then during the, I guess, late afternoon, she does a exercise class. She's the leader of the exercise class, and a ninja at the beginning of the movie, a ninja, does his job and then incurs the wrath of the police, who track him down and all shoot him. But
this
before,
is in today's, or in the
1983.
It wasn't like he was a ninja and they killed him then and his spirit inhabited. This is a 80s ninja.
This is an 80s ninja.
Okay, of course. Why wouldn't it be?
1984 ninja, just like George Orwell predicted. And just before he dies, after getting bullet ridden by like 37 times, sure. Sees her in full telephone pole gear and says the incantation and puts his spirit into her. She's got a video game in her apartment. The video game comes to life, and actually the spirit that kind of comes through the video game, and
okay. Well, as it does.
And then the ninja, using her body and the sword that was recovered from the scene of the crime and whatnot, is then used as the vessel to kill the police officers who murdered him. Yeah.
Even he had been murdering people as a ninja.
Well, he murdered. He had one. He was a ninja. He had one job.
Okay.
He does it, but there are a lot of cops around, so the cops see him and they take. It's a big.
Are these dirty cops? Are these the dirty cops that were with the person he killed?
No, not really. I mean, some of them are kind of asshole cops.
That happens too.
Revealed.
That happens too.
They're kind of revealed. I mean, at the beginning of the movie, they're just cops.
Sure.
So
okay.
They kill the guy that killed someone else. So but then a couple of them are revealed to be assholes, and of course, those are the ones that are shown being killed for the most part.
Gotcha.
And then there's a little twist that happens. Does
she get into like stereotypical ninja gear at any point, or is she just like in her workout clothes?
No, she gets into like you see the, I think that's the actual ninja in the movie, but she has that
the gi, the black gi with the okay, cool.
It's more grayish. I mean again, that's the actual ninja.
Sure.
But it's not like a full black.
Like, sure.
Thing. But yeah, you never seen this movie?
No, I didn't.
What the hell, man? Why are we friends?
Ninja 3.
But anyway,
I can picture the preview now. The Ninja 3, the domination.
Yeah. And again, you want to make fun of them for Alligator, but some of those other ones not being in 4K. Here is their next 4K release. And this is the one. This has kind of inspired this entire thing that I've come up with. Again. It just seeing the cover, I wonder maybe if it will spark your little video store memories and things like that. Because this is a movie I remember seeing on cable, and this was a movie that came out in the wake of the whole Conan thing.
Of course,
where all of these, the type of sword and sorcery type, I've sort of blown the thing right there, but were a big thing in the early '80s and whatnot. So they're next month. I've just gotten, or no, I'm sorry, this month. It's next week. This actually comes out.
Okay.
Which I've gotten an advanced copy of it. I just got it, 4K.
Sword and Sorcerer.
Yeah. Now, do you remember the actual video box for this movie?
No.
Because this has been altered. This is not. This is very. It's similar artwork there.
Yeah.
There's one very distinct change, and I'm honing in on it right now.
Well, I'm assuming it's the scantily clad woman.
Yes.
With the snake attacking her.
Yes. On the original video cover and the poster for the movie, 4 breasts.
4.
Total Recall had 3.
I was just gonna say she beat the Total Recall girl.
Yep.
She had 3.
Yeah, it was 4. It was 2 rows but covered. I mean, they weren't, they weren't out, but they were, yeah. So the little, changed a little bit, but yeah, 4K Sword and the Sorcerer.
Okay.
Yeah, movie with a twist. There's a twist in the movie that freaked me out as a kid when I probably shouldn't have been watching the movie with the 4 breasts. But yeah, so yeah, 4. So if Shout Factory is doing this in 4K, anything's possible.
We have hope.
Yeah, that's right.
Positive.
There
is, by the way, an alligator that is either mutated or changed in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. His name is Leatherhead. He is a Leatherhead. He is I believe he has a Cajun accent, and he's from the Bayou.
Of course.
He wears like a little Cajun hat. Like
he doesn't sound that threatening. I gotta say, unless he's in Southern Comfort, the Walter Hill film, also released by Shout Factory.
No,
Southern Comfort's awesome.
I don't think he's a bounty hunter. I think he's just Cajun, if I remember correctly.
He's an alligator bounty hunter.
Remember, all the animals are mutated. Bebop and Rocksteady are like the rhino and all that stuff. And the Leatherhead is the talking, walking alligator character.
Again, it's not realistic.
But alligator is, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah. I understand.
Common knowledge.
That's right. That's right. That's right. My number 3, I don't want to get too into the cause of it, but I want to more talk about what the website does and why it's currently... I literally just learned about this today, and I had to talk about it. And so there's a website called itch.io. So it's ITCH.io as opposed to .com. It's .io. Itch.io. And it is, I believe it stands for something, but it's on the PC when you want to play a video game. There's a couple places now you can go. GOG or GOG.com. God of Games, I think is what it was originally called. There's a couple other smaller ones. You can go directly to Ubisoft, directly to EA, directly to Microsoft, directly to all these places. They have their own little storefront. You hit a button, you download the game onto your computer, right? The biggest one is Steam. It's made by a company called Valve. And Steam is like the go-to place. If you play a game on a computer, not on a console, if you go to Steam, they have everything. They always have everything. They have everything. And other than some exclusives now, basically Steam is the place to go. And in order to put your game up there, say you and I and Sergio and a couple other people we know. Sergio, boo hiss. You don't like that pure... He put puree stain, yeah.
I don't like any of it, Sergio. Sorry.
We say we make a game. 4 or 5 of us get together. I'm a programmer, you're an artist, a writer, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And it's just a little group of guys. You make your own little game. You could host your own website, put the game up there. Someone can go on there. You'd have to institute your own payment structure. You'd have to be able to download it from your website, which costs you money as you're downloading and uploading video, bits of data. You're paying for that to have a customer buy it from you. So this Steam and these other places, basically, they take a cut. So say the 5 of us were like an independent film, in this case, an independent video game. You throw it up on Steam. They take whatever it is, 15, 20, 30%. I can't remember the exact. I think they just lowered it. But so if you make a sale, they're going to take a percentage of it for hosting it and letting people downloading it. But there's so many games on Steam, your stuff gets lost. And so what this place did is they started this independent website where you can host your small independent game. 4 or 5 man team, 2 person team, 6 person team, 10 person team. You make this small game, or even pretty ambitious games, depending on how good you are at doing what you're doing, and you throw it up on itch, and people can download their games directly through there. But what they've done on multiple occasions is it's a great place for independent, creators. But what they've done on occasion is they have these sales. Steam will do it. They have their Steam sales. So say you're a Rainbow Six fan. When they have the Steam sale, they have all these bundles, and you'll be like, all right, I want to buy all the Rainbow Six games that have ever been made. They'll bundle them all up, and you pay like, most of them are old, except for the brand new one that just came out, Extraction. And it'll be like $20. And you'll get 15 Rainbow Six games, and you hit a button and you download them whenever you want. You now own the license, and you can download them whenever you want to. So they have these great sales. Well, Itch will do bundles, and it's another place called Humble Bundle, where you can go and download these big bundles. What they have done on occasion, both Humble and Itch, is done things for charity. In this case, because of the war in Ukraine, what they have chosen to do, and they've done this before, is they bundle a bunch. In this case, on Itch, it's all these independent creators. Like I said, small teams. One guy got it together and said, look, we need to do something. What the payment structure is, you can pay as little as $10. That's it, minimum. You pay $10, you get the bundle. But if you want, you could pay $50, you could pay $100, you could pay $200, you can pay whatever you want. And the minimum is 10. So if you just give them $10, if you go to itch.io, itch.io, $10. In this case, this bundle has 991 games by all these independent makers. They know with $10, they're lucky. So what do you do the math? $10, 100, 10 cents, maybe a piece, if they're lucky.
Right.
And it's not all video games. So I did the math. I looked up the website today because I heard about that they were doing this again. They had done it previously. It's 50-50 to two different charities. So say you give 10, you're going to get everything I'm talking about anyway. 600 digital games. 600 for your PC. 300 analog tabletop RPGs. A lot of people, like Dungeons and Dragons, you have the books of all that stuff. People make their own or make addendums. Like I play D&D, but I made this little module that added these 3 new characters. Well, they're just writing it on their own time. They make a little pamphlet. You can download a PDF of it for free or whatever, and you can play with Dungeons and Dragons. 300 analog tabletop RPGs. So all different kinds of rule sets, add-ons, their own thing, whatever. In addition to that, so that's 900. 91 other things include everything from comic books, magazines, music, video game soundtracks, all different kinds of stuff. Art pieces, whatever. Yeah, independent people have contributed 991 pieces. So say you give them $10, you will get all of that. Of your $10, it is divided 50-50. So $5 will go to something called Voices of Children. It's a Ukrainian fundraiser that deals with PTSD, children with PTSD, and things to do with war, social help to help getting people here to and fro, things like that. So this $5 of your 10 will go to that. These are all valid. I have not personally checked them, but I know people have donated to Itch, and I've never heard a complaint. So again, I'm going with that they've been trusted before. So as far as I know, these are trusted as of right now. I'm going to be doing more digging, but it's literally happened like 2 hours before this, so I haven't had time to check. Just a disclaimer. So you do your own research. Go on the website and verify what I'm saying before you start donating money if you choose to do it. The other 50%, the other $5, say only give 10, is going to go to the International Medical Corps. International Medical Corps. In this case, they do stuff all over, but in this case, they provide medical services to people in need. And obviously, in this case, there's going to be a lot of that in the Ukraine. And not only that, but the people fleeing have been injured, and people there have been injured. So they're going to go around. They're going to help people. It's kind of like Doctors Without Borders and stuff. In this case, not all charities are built the same. My father is a huge Lions Club person, and every dollar you give them, I'll have to look it up specifically, but I want to say it's like 90% goes to the charity. The other 10% is overhead. Some charities, only 10% or 20% actually goes to the people in need, and the others for profit or not, but they hide it in administrative costs and all this garbage. In this case, their website is being told, again, there's a link. You can go directly to their website and try to verify all this stuff, but 89% of your $5 goes to actual medical assistance. The other 11% is their overhead just to make sure they can get the stuff back and forth. So again, this is like Doctors Without Borders. So you can go to itch.io, itch.io. There's links to the two charities. Whatever you choose to give them, you can give them as little as $10. Or if you want to be extra gracious, you can give them 20, 50, 100, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you even want to do it, I know I'll be doing it. Again, I haven't had time. I literally was doing this. So, but I will be doing it later tonight. Again, 50% of whatever you give will go to one of these. The other 50% will go to the other. And here's just a few. You may not have heard of these, but I just ripped through the first few hundred just to see if I could see, because there's going to be a lot of stuff you've never heard of. But just the ones I've heard of, and I'm a gamer. Quadrilateral Cowboy. In Bento. And Bento's like a little, almost like a Tetris. You're making bento boxes. So you're moving little pieces of food around to fit them in bento boxes so they all fit. Wheels of Aurelia. It's a pseudo racing game that's more of a story-based thing. Hidden Folks. It's like a little, almost like a Where's Waldo, but with little. It has ever-evolving tasks, like to find more obscure stuff in these really intricate stick figure drawings. Celeste, Houghton, Cook Serve Delicious 2, Sundered, Crosscode, Backbone. I think I said Sundered already. There's a little puzzle game, which I know you would love, because I know you like lateral thinking puzzles.
Yes.
It's called Baba Is You. Baba, B-A-B-A, is you. And it is a word puzzle.
Okay.
But it's semi-visual. It has very limited UI. But you have to, it'll say, so Baba is you, right? And there's a little thing on the screen that says Baba. So you know that's you. So Baba is you. That's the rule. Well, then it'll say Baba is you, and it'll say fire is hot. And then it'll have very little UI on the screen, and the fire will be in an enclosed room. You can't get the fire out of the room. You can't physically. You can either move the item or you can change the words. So you realize, okay, I have control of the fire, but I can't get it out of this asbestos little room. So I can't light the fire. So the object is to light the little fire. Well, you can't move the fire to the area. So what you do is you go up and then you click the button to go to the words. You change, you move hot or fire to Baba, and then you put you is the fire. Or Baba is you. So you take Baba out and you move fire. Or I'm sorry. In this case, you would go Baba or you is fire. So you would move the word fire from the other thing and move that over to that. So you is fire. Then you can't move it, right? So if you do Baba is fire, well, the little Baba guy on the screen is now free. He's not stuck in the room. And all you did was change the word. So you can't change the objective, but you can change the word. Move it from one to the other, which changes the rules. Well, now you move the little Baba and you walk him over the wood, you start the fire. And it gets more and more and more complex, and it uses all these very simple 3-word things like Baba is you, fire is hot, blah, blah, blah. And it gets more and more complicated as you go. So that's on there, and it's super simple. Super hot. It's a 3D thing where unless you move the joystick, you don't move. And as people enter the room, it kind of looks like very rudimentary VR. And until you move the joystick, you don't move. So you can see the people entering the room, they're going to shoot you. Well, if the second you move the joystick to the left, it'll start moving frames. So you can dodge the bullet and then maybe punch the guy. And then if you leave it still, you can then predict where things are going to go, so you can then move. It's like using the old thing on the VCR, the shuttle, to skim through the thing, but you don't do it unless you move. So you might corner yourself and get killed, but if you stop yourself and plan ahead and move yourself around, the beauty is, say you dodge two bullets, you grab a thing, like a bottle, you throw it, you knock the guy out while the gun goes in the air. If you then run towards him, you can grab the gun. Well, now someone else is shooting you, so you don't move right away. Okay, that guy's going to shoot you. Back up, then you shoot this guy, then you shoot that guy. The best part is it's all kind of step by step, like frame by frame. If you complete that little room, it then cuts to an external camera, and it shows you in real time, without the stopping, what you did and where your character moved and what he did to, like, grab the gun or shoot or dodge. And it becomes this gun fu, almost like Jackie Chan style movie thing, these little snippets. You can't see it from that camera angle. It's first person until you complete it. And then it shows you running around a room, like knocking a gun out of a guy's hand, throwing a bottle. You're shooting through the glass, guy falling, then you punch the guy flies through the air and hits another guy. And these are 4 or 5 people making these games. So if you have any interest in helping people in Ukraine, and you go, well, I could just give money. In this case, you're giving money, and you're getting something out of it. You don't have to, but they're doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. They're basically giving all their hard-earned stuff that they built for free, basically, away. Because if you give as little as $10, each of them's getting about a dime. And again, all I would say is that we talk about things that, make us happy, or we're not going through what other people are going through. And as much as I need to be happy about things that don't make me happy, there's nothing on the level of what's happening right now. And if you really want to help them, and you had any hesitation, and you go, you know what, I haven't played a game on a PC. Here's your $10, and if you really want to be nice, throw a 20, throw a 50, throw 100. You're getting 991 pieces of someone's passion project that you can then use, and you can still help someone. Give them medical aid, give them psychological aid, get them transportation, get them whatever. So again, itch.io, not .com, itch.io, and you can donate that money and help some people. So you can feel good about helping them, and they're getting some help, and you get a little something out of it, if that helps you any to donate.
Yeah, and the offer, it's available for the next 8 days.
Thank you for looking that up.
Yes, for the next 8 days, 2 hours and 59 minutes as we're taping this. So figure 8 days figure a week from when this episode will be posted.
Their goal was 4 million, and as of an hour ago, it was at $3.19 million they had.
Amazing. Yeah.
It's a really nice thing they're doing. Imagine if you'd made a film for some, a little independent film, and you just handed it away because now it's going to get copied and given out to 1 million people. You're giving it away for free. That's what these guys are basically doing. Super Hot alone is worth $10. I have it on VR. One of these days I'm going to get you to play it. But I have the VR version over here. And Baba is used, super fun. Cook Serve Delicious is like a little diner kind of thing. And this is just whatever. What did I read off? Maybe 15? Hidden Folks is super cute and fun. Invento's super cute. Again, you're not going to do anything wrong by doing this. You are helping people who need medical help and psychological help and all kinds of help. And if you're at all weirded out, because again, I have not been able to vet these 2 charities, but based on their previous stuff, I've yet to hear anything that they do has been incorrect. I believe, since you have the website open, if you go to where it says 50/50 and it'll show International Medical Corps, and then it'll say a line or whatever, and then it says Voices of Children, I think they have links right to their websites, right? You have it up?
I have to dig in a little bit further.
Let me see here.
Oh, okay. Well, I found there. Yeah, so it's up to 3.22 million currently.
It's already made $100,000 in the last hour. So yeah, there's direct links. It says 700 creators have joined in support to donate their work. International Medical Corps. There is a direct link you can click. It'll go directly to their website. Provides medical assistance in the region. They have very low fundraising overhead, 1% of their income. So with 89% of donations going directly to medical aid and 10% only to the administration. Voices of Children, again, a direct link on itch.io. You can go to their website to Voices of Children through the link. Ukrainian organization that helps children cope with the horrors of war, PTSD, readjusting to school, getting back to being kids. They also have been doing lots of grassroots, impromptu work during the war, such as helping set up shelters. Our hope is the war will be over soon. So again, I'm sure there's a million other ways to do it. But this is just one that caught my eye since I happen to be a gamer. Again, you don't have to give 10. You can give more. So 10 is the minimum for everything. 991 pieces of someone's passion. So
I'm going to do this myself. I don't even know how much time I'll even have to play one game, let alone 991. But again, it's not. I mean, the game, that's a nice gesture.
Right.
They're doing for people.
The games are extra.
Yeah, this is. I mean, think of the children right now. That's all I keep thinking about. Watching this stuff, and I mean, so in the last minute we've been talking and went almost up another $10,000.
Nice.
So, and anything you do to bring awareness to this. I mean, 4 million is just a goal. Doesn't have to stop there.
Right.
If you can give money to get yourself to a film festival or to fund someone's short film, you could give a couple bucks to this. And again, everyone's on their own income. You and I are not rich people either, but again, $10, $20, something to put forth out there. And if this reaches someone with a bit more means, and if you do it, they said the top contribution right now is $9,000.
Oh yeah, it says on the website.
Yeah,
$9,000. Wow, good for them.
Average contribution $14.57. So again, it's bare minimum. I mean, you want to talk about the least you can do. This is about that much. So
well, I'm telling you, even since you are doing it, and that's very nice of you to do it. Just do yourself a favor. Of all the things I've read off, just because I know you like lateral thinking and word puzzles,
I do.
Download Baba Is You.
I like numbers more. Do they have numbers games like Sudoku?
I'm sure they have stuff. I'll have to look through it on there. Yeah. They have something called Pick Cross, which you kind of make pictures using numbers. It's hard to explain, but they have a couple of those on there.
Do they have Animal Crossing?
No, unfortunately they don't. That's only Nintendo. But you'll really like Baba Is You. I can almost guarantee it, and it's something you can do one level in like 5 or 10 minutes, knowing you. 5 or 10 minutes, just rip through it. And it's not super long, but it's something you'll dig. But yeah, there's tons of role-playing games and story-based games and little puzzle games and everything. So yeah, and you download the games directly through itch.io. So once you do this, you'll have a license that's permanent to all 600 digital games, 300 PDFs for the analog tabletop role-playing games. If you want to maybe start one of those, comic books, magazines, you print them up, read them. I think you can even read them digitally on there. I don't know that for a fact. Music, you download the music, you can put that on your stuff too. So a lot of these are soundtracks and stuff from the games. So do yourself a favor. And again, although it's a sad subject, this is a positive way to help. And the dude, it says his name up there. His name, I will give him credit. He is an independent creator. He calls his company Necrosoft Games. And I believe they has his name on here. If it's not, I feel bad. I will put it in the comments. But yeah, unfortunately, his name's not on here specifically that I can say. But it's Necrosoft Games. And he's the guy who has done this. You're going to survive. I wish I could find it easier. I apologize. I didn't get his name. But I will put it in the comments here. He's the one who organized this particular bundle. And I'm glad he's doing it. So I encourage people to donate. And like you said, even if you don't like what's going on or you don't like this government, that government, this, that, and the other. I'm not asking you to get involved or to care what I think or you think or whatever. Like you said, it's the kids.
I think it is kids.
Regardless of whether you like one side or the other, the kids. This money will help directly help kids. And they're the ones who are going to have to live with this the rest of their lives. So I think this is a fun way to help. And I'm glad I heard about it today. I'm glad I saw the article.
I'm going to post this around myself to bring some more awareness of it. So I mean, this is the happiness that this could bring to someone is the point, and not that you're trying to get any kind of credit for
I'm not making any money off of this. I have no say in this. I have no dog in this fight.
Right. This is just a pay it forward type moment. And I mean, for the kids.
Definitely. So that's my number 3.
Okay.
But it'll be good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can leave notes, but I don't know how that works. I think you might just be able to donate money, but if you can leave a note, put in your name, say whatever you can, positive in the notes when you do it.
Right.
You never know. I don't know if they give that stuff directly to them as well, but yeah.
Right.
So, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to something that I don't know if you were paying attention to the news today, and I don't mean breaking news.
Yeah.
I'm talking about entertainment news that broke today.
Are you talking DC?
Yeah, I am talking DC.
Yeah, go for it.
Which is weird. But there are 2 things that actually broke this week. I might save the other one for next time, but I wanted to bring this up today, considering that it just broke today, and it made me smile because we have just talked about the Batman.
Yes.
You saw, and we did it on my podcast, and you're going to be posting video of us.
Yeah, I wasn't still sure if you wanted me to, but I will do that if you're cool with it.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, all right, I will.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. But they just announced today that HBO Max has ordered a full limited series, but a full to order series of the Penguin, with Colin Farrell reprising his role as Oswald Cobblepot. And it just, I mean, again, I don't always, every time they, it seems like there's an announcement of some casting for whatever thing they're doing. I mean, there's Kraven the Hunter news, and there's all those other things that all your buddies at Sony are doing. But seeing this, and again, because we talked about it when we did the Batman show, how Colin Farrell is just this actor that I've just rooted for so much of his career, and it seems every time he gets, in some franchise or something that's going to break out big, it just kind of never quite gets there, through no fault of his own, of course, because he's always bringing it, and he brings it in the Batman. And if there's one character you want to see spun off into his own limited series, I just want to see Colin Farrell do that character for 6 episodes. I'm completely fine with that. And who knows how that's going to lead into other Batman stories or all that kind of stuff. But
they're also confirmed that they're doing they said potentially there's going to be a Catwoman spinoff.
Okay.
But they definitely have confirmed that they're retooling what they were going to do, like a Gotham PD like show, and they retooled it, and they're just calling it Arkham Asylum.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense too.
And so
so yeah, just, I mean, and Farrell seems to be enthusiastic. I mean, he clearly seems to have loved playing this character. He's clearly having a ball on screen. So why not do it for 6 more episodes? And again, it makes me happy for him. I'm just really happy that Colin Farrell just consistently gets work. And a reminder that a movie that I think I mentioned or I might have mentioned it here, actually. There's a movie that's with Colin Farrell, all that opened the same day as Batman, the Batman. called After Yang. This low-key science fiction movie by director
Yes,
Kogonada.
I think you did.
It's in theaters, but it's also streaming on Showtime right now as well. So I encourage people to.
That's the robot one?
Yes, the robot, older robot brother slash caretaker who malfunctions, and they discover, memories that he has recorded. And it is just a beautiful movie. It's my favorite movie of the year so far. So.
Obviously, if people have listened to your podcast with me about the Batman, we both enjoyed the hell out of him playing the Penguin.
Yes.
And I showed Sergio some of the video from the Batman game, and
okay,
kind of, it's not he has a little bit of an accent and stuff in the game, but you can see the difference. It's not the the 66 version, and they took a little bit of from there. He's more mobster like this movie. So I really liked him in it. So when I heard that today, along with the other DC news, that I was pretty excited. That's going to be fun. That Iceberg Lounge and his home base of his mobster activity, it'll be really fun to see it, not Sopranos-y, but what takes place at the Iceberg Lounge. It'll be neat. It'll be neat to see what they do with that. It'll be cool if they introduce some of the other Rogues Gallery people that maybe aren't in Arkham yet. Whatever. There's hitmen and other things that could maybe go through Iceberg Lounge and talk to Penguin. It'll be neat to see what they do with that.
Yep, that's fine.
So I'm looking forward to. I talked about Cyberpunk 2077 upgrade. How they had basically taken a game from the Xbox One that ran in 1080 and then even then not really well anyway. And they did all these, on PC. If you have a $5,000 computer, you could run the thing. In 4K at 180 frames a second, it looks amazing. With these home consoles, though, for $500, they're still pumping out pretty close to, or 4K or pretty close to 4K with all the bells and whistles, water reflections, and all these great things on. Well, they did an upgrade to Cyberpunk recently. Well, companies know that if they're going to put out another new game soon, this is a cheap way for them to upgrade their engine. The engine is the thing that they use to pump out the graphics or the AI and stuff in the game. And it's a cheap way for them to go in, retool it, reissue like a patch for the newer console. And then that way their engine is nice up and running. And that way when they have their new game come out, it's already kind of chugging along. Their engine is working the right way. It's not breaking down. And so literally one of the biggest games or entertainment IP period, even including movies, one of the most profitable has been Grand Theft Auto and all the controversy that has come with that. Well, Grand Theft Auto 5, which came out a long time ago, is still like one of the top 5 sellers every year. I can't comprehend it. It's like 10 years old and it still sells, record-breaking kind of numbers. It's in the top 5 like every year since. And the last time it was on consoles was on the Xbox One. Actually, I think it was originally on the Xbox 360. Then there was an Xbox One version. That version runs on the new machines, the Xbox Series X and the PS5. And they've done their new upgrade is coming out for the Xbox. I believe it's the 15th. And I'll get that date exactly now. But the Xbox upgrade is basically making a game that, again, it's a massive, March 15th. It is a massive, massive world. You're in a car in the game. You can drive from one side all the way to the other. It takes a good hour, 45 minutes. It's depending on the way you take, what you're doing to get there. It never slows down. You don't have loading screens or don't really exist anymore on most of these games. You just drive, and the ability to make something like that massive, running at that scale, is already a technical wonder. Well, with these $500 machines, like a Series X, you're not spending $5,000. They've done a full 4K upgrade. And if it's not doing full 4K, it's probably doing close to it Might be doing like 2880, but upscaling to, or 2180 or 2480. I'll have to look it up. 3840 by 2160. So yeah, I might be doing like 1880 or 1980. It's not quite 4K, but then the machine will upscale the rest of it to 4K, and it looks amazing. The fun part about GTA 5 is you have the old original game where you can play the story, which is hours and hours and hours long. But it has a thing now with these newer games. GTA 5 has something called GTA Online. And so imagine the world of GTA and all of its satire and silliness or whatever. You can now hit a button anywhere on the map while you're playing the single-player game, and you go to your online persona where you can make yourself look a certain way and buy yourself certain clothes, and you can act a certain way, and you can drive around the city with 60 to 80 other players all running around the city doing stupid stuff. So you could do a hitman contract and go and kill a person. You could, rob the casino. You could do, and it's pretty simple to jump in. Well, they're upgrading all of it, and it already looks pretty cool. But it's gonna look so nice, and I can't wait to see what they've. Again, it won't be till the 15th, so it's gonna be a couple days. But when that patch comes out, I'm gonna download it right away and jump in. These new machines' loading times are damn near instantaneous for gobs of data. Imagine almost an entire 4K Blu-ray being instantly dumped into RAM and then up on your TV in a matter of 7 seconds. That's how quick these new hard drives are in these things. And so, yeah, you can stream that entire massive world, countryside, desert, a full city with buildings and interiors and cars and 60 people flying around. You hit the button, and the load time, they say, is going to be incredibly quick. I'm looking really forward to that. And along with that, I think Sergio is still in here. The last week, I'll just add this really quick because it's game-related too, but last week we talked about Forza Horizon, the racing game. And, I was telling him about it, and I know he's a movie guy. I know he's a music guy. We talked about all that stuff, and I didn't know how much he knew about video games or if he even cared at all. And it boggled my mind. It was I was happily surprised. I bring up Forza Horizon, and I'm sure he's going to comment here in a second. He goes, oh, I'm a huge F1 fan. I don't know if you saw that part. Yeah, I didn't know he liked cars at all, let alone specifically the sport of racing cars, or the fact that he was a gearhead or liked that kind of stuff in the slightest. Were you aware?
Yeah, because I used to actually tape Formula One shows for him when he didn't have that channel in the city. So I would actually, on VHS, tape Formula One shows for him and give them at screenings, because he didn't have the cable package, or they didn't have that available in the city and stuff like that. We did. So I would tape those shows for him, sometimes in the wee hours on the weekend, that I set my timer on the VCR to capture some of these things. What I would have to do, record on the TiVo and then record off the TiVo. So that's what I was doing basically. So
some of those things are taking place in Europe, so they'd be like 1 a.m. or whatever.
Right. Sometimes, yeah.
Well, he contacted me a couple days after the podcast last week. I want to say it might have even been literally the next day. Mm-hmm. But he basically told me, he goes, his quote here in the chat is, Eric Laws is evil. Yep. I know he seduced me. Yeah.
I've been hearing that. I've been hearing that.
Yeah. He texts me and he's like, all right, you got me. What do I got to do to start? He's like, I want to play. And as far as he said, he had never played anything on any PlayStation or any Xbox. So you're talking 20 years plus of him not touching a video game on a console at all. He said he played some sort of racing game online, like on the computer a little bit, but was probably very low graphics, probably in a browser. Yeah. But he's like, I want to play this game. I said, all right, here's the lowest entry point. And so I went to the store yesterday, because I was able to secure him a Xbox Series S, and he's gonna get Game Pass, and he's like, I'm gonna download it right away, Forza Horizon. I told him when he gets everything hooked up, if you get, we'll get him online, and then I'll jump in my car and we'll race together. So if we do that, we're gonna need to get you to download Horizon, and the three of
Yeah.
us will get on. The only thing I think he may not have is a headset, so we got to figure out a way to hopefully at least he's got maybe one of these or something, and we can get him a headset so he can talk to us. But
just tell him what headset he needs to get, and he'll,
yeah, but he's already forking over quite a bit of money, so I don't want to totally get him addicted to this. But we'll figure something out. But he's getting him.
Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, can we get him like Leisure Suit Larry? I think he'd really enjoy that.
It's not on Game Pass for now. For now, he's gonna do that.
Okay.
That way, anything on there is free. But there's like 4, 5, 6 racing games. There is not any Leisure Suit Larry on there. But yeah, he would totally dig that. But yeah, he got his. I put all the information in so that it gets delivered to him, and he got his text message today, and he's like, "Here it is. It'll be there on Saturday." He got his text message that it'll be there on Saturday. He's like, "All right, Saturday, I'm getting it." So I'm kind of looking forward to that too a little bit. We'll see if we can get him online right away, and then maybe Sunday we'll try to figure out a way to get online with him and race around in Forza and drive like lunatics and drive through fences and stuff. So yeah, it's that's fun. If anything can be learned from this week is TV's back, prank calls are funny, and if you want to help someone out, itch.io, itch.io, as little as $10. You can maybe give some kids some medical stuff during this war. And I really do, even if you don't want to do this, I'm sure there are other places you may feel comfortable donating. If there's anything that can be more positive or that can make you feel good, is knowing that you are helping a little kid who has absolutely no control over the situation he's stuck in. He or she is stuck in. And that little bit of medical help or that shelter or that transportation or whatever that they're going to provide, how can that not warm your heart and make you feel good?
Right.
So, all right. Next week we'll have a different guest, and then we'll see you in 2 weeks.
That's the plan.
Yeah. Well, everybody, have a good rest of the week, and we'll see you in a week. Later.